Chapter 2100. The Fast Sword of Qing Shan Jing Xiaoyu left. She had come to the Yu clan's deployment mine hoping to see Mu Chen. However, she didn't bump into Mu Chen, but bumped into a strange person, Lin Feng. On her way back to the Jing clan, Jing Xiaoyu kept thinking about what Lin Feng had told her. What did it mean? If Mu Chen showed up, he'd help the Jing clan. If he didn't, he'd help the others steal the Jing clan's deployment mine? Xiaoyu, a middle-aged man, spoke up at that moment. He looked at Jing Xiaoyu gently. However, Jing Xiaoyu looked back at him in icy anger. Xiaoyu, don't worry. Mu Chen isn't a good match for you. He won't dare show up. The Yu clan will kill the people who try to steal their deployment mine, the middle-aged man said calmly. However, Jing Xiaoyu just looked at him icily. Today, I went to the Yu clan and I ran into someone. A strange person, said Jing Xiaoyu emotionlessly to the middle-aged man. A young man, he was very strange. He told me to tell the Jing clan that on the day of the deployment mine competition, if Mu Chen showed up, he'd help the Jing clan steal the deployment mine, and if Mu Chen didn't show up, he'd help the others steal the Jing clan's deployment mine. When the middle-aged man heard that, he frowned angrily and said, "Who was that person? I don't know him. He's extremely strong. I hope there aren't implications," said Jing Xiaoyu icily before she left. The middle-aged man looked furious, blade-sharp lights flashed in his eyes as he whispered, "Does the Yu clan think they can still prevent us from taking their deployment mine?" In the eyes of the Jing clan, the Yu clan's deployment mine was already theirs. After Jing Xiaoyu left, Lin Feng and Yu Xen left too. Yu Xian was still astonished. She glanced at Lin Feng secretly now and then. "Why are you looking at me?" Lin Feng smiled. "The more I look at you, the less I understand you." "I was right. I will soon understand," Yu Xian smiled. Jing Xiaoyu is a genius of the Jing clan, and extremely strong. However, in front of you, she didn't look strong. If you fight against her on the day of the deployment mine competition, I'm sure you could easily steal theirs. And did you really mean what you said to Jing Xiaoyu? What then? Asked Lin Feng smiling. If Mu Chen shows up, will you really help the Jing clan against the three clans? I will, said Lin Feng nodding. Well then, I hope Mu Chen won't show up. Yu Xian smiled cheerfully. Lin Feng looked at her strangely. Do you really believe I will help the Jing clan steal the three other clans' deployment mines? Tai said I'd understand you sooner or later. Maybe I will, said Yu Xen, giving a non-committal reply with a cheeky grin. Lin Feng, Tai, and Yu Xian went back to Yu clan. The Yu clan was as before, getting ready for the deployment mine competition. The three clans of Qingshan City had had several occasions to act, but in the end they had come to a compromise, the competition. At each competition, there would be 5 battles. When there were 3 winners, they won the deployment mine. People who had fought already couldn't fight again. That was good for the Yu clan, as even though the Jing clan was strong, they didn't have that many geniuses. The day of the competition for the deployment mines finally arrived. The location was where the 4 deployment mines were. The winners would take control over the loser's mine. The Yu clan's strong cultivators had gathered together. Yu Lin and Su Mu were at the head of the group. This battle was too important for the Yu clan. If they lost, they would lose their deployment mine and the Jing clan would take control of it. Yu Lin, Su Mu, you are the 2 most important elements of this battle, a group of old men said to Su Mu and Yu Lin. We will definitely win this battle, Yu Lin nodded. All right, let's go. The first battle of the Jing clan is over the deployment mine of the Feng clan. Let's go to the Feng clan to see first, said an elder. The group of people rose up into the air, the crowd looking at Yu Lin, Su Mu, and Yu Yi. They were mounted on unicorns and looked majestic. Lin Feng, Tai, and Yu Xian were following behind them. Yu Kuan noticed Lin Feng and the others, his eyes twinkled and he smiled. Lin Feng, little boy. You're now used to staying in the Yu clan. I hope Yu Xen is taking good care of you? Yes, Yu Xen is great, said Lin Feng, smiling and nodding. Very good. You've been here for so many days. Has your teacher been looking for you? Asked Yu Kuan. Soon. I'm sure that you will see him soon, replied Lin Feng. Very good. I hope he can teach us some things. Besides, You know that today is the deployment mine competition? The 4 big clans are going to fight. So today you can watch and learn, said Yukuan politely. He didn't disdain Lin Feng, but the competition was between 4 powerful groups, so he was convinced that Lin Feng, who knew a few deployment spells, would learn some things. That's what I thought, replied Lin Feng. Yukuan didn't say much and left with the others for the Feng clan. At the Feng clan's deployment mine, there were many nervous people. The members of the Jing clan had arrived already. Apart from people of the Feng clan, there were observers from all 4 powerful clans. The second deployment mine the Jing clan wanted was that of the Wen clan. They wanted the deployment mines of all other 3 clans. Apart from the clans, there were many strong cultivators from Qingshan City who had come to watch. This competition would determine the fate of Qingshan City. Ho Qinglin and his group were with the group of people from the Feng clan. The members of the Feng clan were very polite to Ho Qinglin and the others. After all, they were willing to help them protect their deployment mine. At that moment, the strong cultivators of the Feng clan walked forwards. Some illusion marks appeared around them. Welcome to the Feng clan's deployment mine. Please be seated, waved a strong cultivator of the Feng clan. Seats rose up into the air and moved around in a perfect formation for people to sit. Apart from their own strength, they could also use the power of the deployment mines. After today, the deployment mine might not belong to the Feng clan anymore, a strong cultivator of the Jing clan said provocatively at that moment. Who will the 5 fighters of the Jing clan be? Asked the strong cultivator of the Feng clan. According to the rules, since we made a concession, you have to choose first, said the strong cultivator of the Jing clan slowly. 5 battles. They weren't going to say who was going to fight. The Feng clan needed to select their fighters first. It was going to be difficult for them. The Jing clan could choose their fighters depending on the fighters chosen by the Feng clan. Jing Yan, Jing Ran, and Jing Xiao you haven't shown up. They won't fight here. They don't care about the Feng clan. The pressure is all on us, said Yukuan to Yulin and the others. Yulin nodded and said, Uncle Kuan, if Jing Yan and the others show up on our battlefield, it'll be difficult. We'll have to give up our deployment mine and try to steal theirs. I think so too. The Jing clan invited many extremely strong people. They are willing to do all they can for the Jing clan. It will be difficult for the Feng clan to protect their deployment mine as well, said Yukuan calmly. He glanced at the members of the Jing clan. They looked calm and collected, as if they had everything under control. From this day on, there would be tremendous changes in Qingshan City. Everybody looked at the Feng clan's members, wondering who they were going to choose. At that moment, a young man came out, wearing gray clothes and with a sword in his back. He looked simple and clean. However, he looked as sharp as a sword, as if nobody could stop him. Who's that person? I've never seen him, whispered some people in the crowd. The man was a stranger. Some members of the Jing clan frowned. They had seen that person before, but they didn't remember where. The Jing clan had to win the first battle. The Jing clan sent out a strong cultivator wearing a bamboo hat who slowly walked out of the crowd. He landed on the deployment mine's ground, looking mysterious. He raised his hand and took off his hat, revealing his deathly pale face. The fast sword of Qingshan. When the crowd saw him, they frowned. That really pale young man was a hero in town, a terrifying sword cultivator. The fast sword of Qingshan was a feared sword cultivator in Qingshan City. His sword attacks were unprecedentedly fast. Very few people could invite him, but the Jing clan had managed to. When the members of the Feng clan saw him, they frowned nervously. Was the Jing clan's goal really the Yu clan? Chapter 2101. One sword. The fast sword of Qingshan was a young man known to be the fastest sword cultivator of his generation. People didn't recall his name anymore, they just called him the fast sword of Qingshan. When they saw him, they all felt oppressed. People looked at the members of the Feng clan with compassion. Unfortunately for them, the fast sword of Qingshan was merciless and emotionless. He liked to kill. The fast sword of Qingshan? Lin Feng looked interested when he heard that name. Unfortunately, Jian Meng wasn't there, or this guy would have seen an even faster sword. Of course, could Ruo Xie's swords be slower? Who do you think will win? Yuexan asked when she saw Lin Feng's broad smile. The fast sword of Qing Shan will lose, Lin Feng declared firmly. Yuexan looked at him strangely, giggling, not believing him at all. The fast sword of Qing Shan was famous. In terms of basic cultivation, not deployment spells, he was even stronger than Yu Lin, and now Lin Feng was saying that the fast sword of Qing Shan was going to lose? The two fighters remained silent on the ground of the deployment mine. They were staring at one another. A cold wind brushed against them. Sword intent rose up, sharp and cold. The fast sword of Qing Shan started moving towards Ruoxie. He wasn't that fast, but he was stable. There was a seemingly ordinary sword in his hand. Real sword cultivators used rather plain swords. When he used his sword, there weren't dazzling lights. It didn't make the earth and sky shake either. Sword cultivators had just one thing in mind: to kill their opponent as fast as possible. Ruoxie was the same and fought the same way. His sword attacks were fast and he wanted to kill his opponents as quickly as possible. The atmosphere became oppressive. People gulped down when they saw the two fighters start moving, staring at the two of them. The members of the Feng clan were very nervous. When the fast sword of Qing Shan appeared, they understood that the Jing clan was truly sly and evil. They didn't intend to take only the Yu clan's deployment mine, otherwise, the fast sword of Qing Shan wouldn't have appeared here. The Feng clan couldn't lose this battle. However, could Ruoxie win? The fast sword of Qing Shan finally attacked, dazzling lights appearing. He wasn't running fast, but his sword was quick. A light beam of cosmic energy appeared. People couldn't follow it with their eyes. Ruoxie's sword also appeared. It looked slower than his opponent's, especially at the time of unsheathing. The crowd could already imagine the fast sword of Qing Shan's cutting apart Ruoxie. Ruoxie's sword looked slower because the fast sword of Qing Shan released his really fast. In the blink of an eye, two light beams appeared between them. They were both standing there motionless. There was no blood. The crowd didn't even see the sword energies. Some people frowned. A cold wind soughed. A silhouette suddenly turned to dust and vanished. People's hearts suddenly started pounding. How was that possible? The fast sword of Qing Shan had lost. Not only had he lost, but he had also died. The opponent, who was wearing a simple gray cloak, slowly turned around and went back to the group of people from the Feng clan. The crowd came back to their senses and realized what had happened. Phew! The strong cultivators of the Feng clan all took deep breaths. Good, Ruoxie is extremely strong. Many strong cultivators from the Feng clan stood up, looking pleasantly surprised. They knew that Ruoxie was extremely strong, but they had not thought he was that strong. He had killed the fast sword of Qing Shan in the blink of an eye, and everybody knew how strong that guy was. If he hadn't died, then Ruoxie would have died. That was the normal result of a battle between two sword cultivators: death. Many people from the Jing clan had long faces. They had thought they'd definitely win, but in the end the fast sword of Qing Shan had been crushed. It meant that the Feng clan could now choose their fighters according to which fighter the Jing clan would choose. The fast sword of Qing Shan surprisingly lost. Who was that guy? Many people from the Yu clan were staring at Ruoxie. Surprisingly, the Feng clan had such a terrifying cultivator? Yuexan looked at Lin Feng strangely. She couldn't believe her eyes. How did you know? Asked Yuexan. I can't say it in front of everyone, said Lin Feng, smiling mysteriously. Yuexan felt even more curious. Couldn't he tell her telepathically? Why did he need to be so vague? But she had no choice but to accept it. Lin Feng whispered in Yuexan's ears, because he's my fellow disciple. Yuexan was stupefied. She looked at Lin Feng meaningfully. This guy is so strong. How many secrets does he have? She remembered what Lin Feng had said. If Muchen showed up, he'd help the Jing clan. If Muchen didn't show up, he'd help the others take the Jing clan's deployment mines. Did he really mean it? Now, 4 battles are left. The Feng clan will be able to choose their fighter according to which fighter the Jing clan is going to choose. The Feng clan could possibly win this battle, Yukuan said calmly. Everybody nodded in agreement. The Feng clan wasn't as strong as the Jing clan or the Yu clan, but they were a powerful clan after all, and also had some terrifyingly strong young people. If the Jing clan didn't select their strongest fighters, the Feng clan could definitely win. Since they had won the first battle, they had an even better chance to win the second one. The Jing clan chose Jing Qiong. He is only inferior to Jing Xiaoyu. With his deployment spells, he's extremely strong. The crowd murmured when they saw the second fighter chosen by the Jing clan. When they saw the fighter chosen by the Feng clan, they all came to the same conclusion. The result of the battle was already sure. The Feng clan chose their strongest genius, Feng Yi. They had to win. As the crowd had expected, the Feng clan won the second battle. The Jing clan had already lost 2 battles. The Feng clan had been sure to win with Feng Yi. Since the Jing clan can't choose their fighters first anymore, they have lost the game, was the general consensus. Those who won the first battle gained the initiative in such battles, so the first battle was decisive. If the Jing clan had won the first battle, they would have been able to choose anyone for the second battle. Even if they lost, it wouldn't have mattered. They could have won the third one easily. But everything depended on the first battle. The Jing clan randomly selected a fighter for the third battle. They had already given up on the Feng clan's deployment mine. They needed to keep their strongest cultivators back. They'd try to get the Wen clan's mine. We won. The members of the Feng clan were relieved. The reason why they had chosen Feng Yi for the second battle was that they still had Ho Qinglin behind him, and he was Ruo Xie's fellow disciple. It seemed that Ruo Xie respected Ho Qinglin a lot, which meant that Ho Qinglin was probably as strong or even stronger than him. It seemed that they had already won, but they remained vigilant anyway. Brother Ho, Brother Ruo Xie, thank you very much. In the future, if you need anything, please ask us. A strong Feng clan cultivator said to Ho Qinglin and Ruo Xie, bowing and smiling. When they had seen the fast sword of Qing Shan come out, they had felt great pressure. Luckily, Ruo Xie had won. The Jing clan had lost 3 times in a row and had decided to give up on their territory. Now that the Feng clan had won, the Wen clan was under pressure. The Jing clan was also determined to take their territory. The Jing clan had chosen the fast sword of Qing Shan for their first battle and had lost, but it made them even more determined to win. The strongest cultivators they had kept for the Feng clan hadn't fought in the end, so they had kept those strong cultivators back for the Wen clan. The Wen clan was now under pressure. Many people looked at Tianqi and the others. They hoped they'd help, like Ruo Xie had done for the Feng clan. The members of the Jing clan rose up into the air and headed towards the Wen clan. They hadn't managed to take the Feng clan's deployment mine. Would they manage to take the Wen clan's? The Jing clan had lost control. The Wen clan didn't control events anymore either. Nobody knew that a mysterious young man who had spent time in the Yu clan had plotted against the Jing clan. From Tiantai, only Ruo Xie had fought already. Ho Qinglin hadn't even needed to fight. The Wen clan felt pressured, and Tiantai's disciples knew that the pressure was present, but they were also convinced that protecting the 3 deployment mines would be no problem at all. Chapter 2102. Desperation. The place for the second round of battles was the Wen clan's deployment mine. Once again, many people were watching in the distance. The members of the Jing clan looked sullen and angry. They had lost the first round. They had to win this time around. Who is sure to win the first battle? A strong cultivator of the Jing clan asked the people behind him. Wait and see. The Wen clan will choose someone first. We'll choose accordingly, someone else responded. All right, no matter what, we must obtain the Wen clan's deployment mine. As the members of the Jing clan were talking, the members of the Wen clan were also talking and planning. Finally, the first fighter they sent out was Wen Yi, one of the strongest young people of the Wen clan. However, when the members of the Jing clan saw him, they smiled. The first battle was going to be easy for them. The Wen clan was probably desperate. They were going to sacrifice one of their people to inspect how strong the Jing clan's cultivators were. The Jing clan chose someone wearing a plaited bamboo hat and a cloak. He jumped up onto the battle stage. People shivered. Another mysterious strange cultivator. In the Feng clan, nobody cared, but now, the crowd understood that it was another cultivator the Jing clan had invited. It's Prince Lu. When he uses his hook, he easily beheads people. Wen Yi is doomed, thought the crowd. Wen Yi, if you can't win, get down off the battle stage, shouted some strong cultivator from the Wen clan. When E nodded, Prince Lu rose up into the air. A grinding vortex spun towards him. However, his hook spirit emerged from the vortex and shot towards Wen Yi's head. At the same time, a pair of eyes appeared at the hook spirit. Wen Yi retreated quickly. At the same time, he kept casting deployment spells to protect himself. He jumped off the battle stage very quickly, stopping the fight quickly. A defeat didn't matter, his life was more important. The Jing clan won this round. The Wen clan is under pressure, thought the crowd. The Jing clan had the initiative. The Jing clan had paid the price to win. They had invited some of the strongest cultivators available in the region. That way, they could keep back the strongest cultivators of the Jing clan to fight against the members of the Yu clan. Everybody knew that the Yu clan was the Jing clan's main target. They really wanted the Yu clan's deployment mine, which was the second best after their own. For the second battle, the Jing clan sent out a cultivator of their own clan. The Wen clan had to choose the second strongest cultivator of their clan. Even if they lost that battle, the Jing clan didn't mind. As long as they managed to win 3 battles, it was enough to gain control over the deployment mine. At that moment, they were waiting for the second fighter of the Wen clan. On the Wen clan side, a sadhu came out. He had a grounded and beneficent priestly demeanor about him. Who's that? Thought many people. They had never seen this cultivator in Qingshan City, and the Wen clan couldn't possibly have Buddhist or Taoist cultivators. Did they keep their strongest cultivators for the last 2 battles? The Jing clan hasn't used their trump cards yet. Even if the Wen clan kept their strongest cultivators for the last 2 battles, the Jing clan will still win. Do you think the Wen clan, like the Feng clan, could have some unexpectedly strong cultivators and win the battle? People were gossiping. The Jing clan was hesitant. Who was the best cultivator they could choose for this battle? We can choose Jing Nan, Jing Bei, or him. He can't fight before winning the second round, so Jing Bei and Jing Nan, get ready to fight, ordered a middle-aged man of the Jing clan. The strongest cultivator of the Wen clan hadn't fought yet. Therefore, they couldn't use their trump cards, otherwise nobody would be able to fight against the strongest cultivator of the Wen clan. They didn't know whether the Wen clan had some secret strong cultivators left or not. They had to keep their trump cards just in case. I'll go, said Jing Nan calmly. This fight is very important, I'll go. All right, you go, agreed the Jing clan's strong cultivator with a nod. It's Jing Nan, can Ban Rua win? Asked the strong cultivator of the Wen clan nervously. If they lost, the Wen clan would probably be in a difficult situation. He didn't know that Tianqi and Jianmang could easily protect their deployment mine. Jing Nan and Ban Rua were going to fight. Jing Nan controlled deployment spells and some special spells. He had terrifying fighting abilities. Ban Rua hadn't changed. His Buddha's halo could illuminate all things. He could turn into a wrathful Buddha, and his body was as hard as diamond. At the same time, he also had a blue Uptala lotus which enabled him to purify the 10,000 things of creation, and he could punish people with his sword. He didn't even need to move to purify and punish evil cultivators. He also knew the Sapta Adibuddha Karasaniya Dharni mantra which resonated with the earth and sky. After a short time, Jing Nan couldn't handle him anymore, blood splashed and he was hurled away. He suffered a crushing defeat. Phew, how strong! The crowd was amazed. That Buddhist cultivator was extremely strong. Among people who didn't understand Tao, few people could defeat him. The Jing clan was a powerful clan of deployment spellcasters, but only a few people of their people understood Tao. Not many of their people could defeat someone like Ban Rua. Good, Master Ban Rua is extremely strong. The strong cultivators of the Wen clan were all smiling broadly. The Wen clan felt grateful and confident again with Ban Rua's victory. The members of the Jing clan all had long faces again. Could it be that they would fail to gain control over the Wen clan's deployment mine also? I'll fight this one. A silhouette flickered and landed on the battle stage of the deployment mine. Qi pulsed around him. I'll go and defeat him, declared someone on the Wen clan side, releasing Qi which dashed to the skies. Everybody frowned. That was the first cultivator of the Wen clan, Wen Ting. Wen Ting good. When the members of the Jing clan saw Wen Ting come out, Their eyes glittered with cold lights. They had to defeat Wen Ting, otherwise, there would be no hope. Wen Ting. The members of the Wen clan looked nervous. They had the sensation the Jing clan had planned to send someone terrifyingly strong, but Wen Ting was already on the battle stage, and they could not change the fighter anymore. The Jing clan sent another cultivator wearing a plaited bamboo hat and a cloak. When he took off his hat, the members of the Wen clan all grimaced. Xueqiu, he controlled blood strength. Wen Ting was in danger. If the Wen clan had known, they would have sent Wen Ting for the following battle. How stupid! But now, all they could do was hope that Wen Ting would defeat Xueqiu. Xueqiu and Wen Ting both understood Dao's strength. Xueqiu was more famous than the fast sword of Qing Shan. Wen Ting was the strongest cultivator of his generation in the Wen clan. Nobody could be sure of the end of the battle. As they started fighting, pieces of stones started exploding all around them. In terms of strength, Xueqiu was stronger than Wen Ting, but Wen Ting also controlled deployment spells, so the result of the battle was uncertain. Most people thought that Wen Ting would lose. "You want to bring about your own destruction," whispered the members of the Jing clan, staring at Wen Ting and smiling icily. They had thought they'd lose these duels, but in the end, they had hope again. As expected, Xueqiu defeated Wen Ting. Wen Ting was driven off the battle stage and coughed up blood. At that moment, someone burst into laughter loudly. A strong cultivator of the Jing clan said indifferently, "Last battle. The Wen clan is going to choose someone." When the members of the Wen clan heard that, they all grit their teeth. Wen Ting felt guilty. He was bleeding and his face had turned deathly pale. "Go back and heal," a strong Wen clan cultivator of the Wen clan told him. He was disappointed. At such a cultivation level, acting so impulsively was stupid. "Who should we choose for this battle?" "Master Tianqi, we can only rely on you now." Wen Ting to Tianqi. Wen Ting had lost. They needed to win this one. Losing their deployment mine would likely result in their clan falling. He knew how strong Tianqi was. At this moment, the Wen clan could only put all their hopes on Tianqi. Nobody could compete with Tianqi in the Wen clan. "Don't worry." Tianqi jumped forwards and landed on the deployment mine's battle stage. When the crowd saw yet another Buddhist cultivator, they frowned. The Jing clan was suddenly less excited as well. Another strong cultivator from the outside? After the previous fights, they weren't relaxed at all. "Jing Bei, we also have to fight against the Yu clan after this, so this battle is for you," said the strong cultivators of the Jing clan to Jing Bei. He had to win this battle, and the deployment mine would be theirs. "All right." Jing Bei took a deep breath and released his qi. He jumped forwards and threw himself at Tianqi, a cloud of qi pulsing around him. The wind roared and whipped the sky into a fury. Wind and clouds, cosmic energies. He controls both cosmic energies. When he's here, clouds appear and a strong wind starts blowing. A great pressure bore down on Tianqi. The members of the Jing clan were all nervous. They had to win this battle. Tianqi's body turned into golden lights which contained aspects of all things. He looked like an ancient Buddha, lofty like a mountain. Inside the golden lights, millions of ancient Buddhas appeared. Tianqi put his palms together and started chanting mantras which people could hear thousands of li away. "Good." The Wen clan's strong cultivators' eyes started twinkling when they saw this. They had hope again. Clouds appeared and a strong wind started blowing. Cosmic energies roared out, yet millions of Buddha's hands appeared and drove towards Tianqi, grinding down on him. Their energies blotted out the sky. Tianqi looked majestic and lofty, wise and indestructible. Their energies collided, and the clouds broke apart. The wind stopped. Jing Bei was smashed away a few li. The members of the Jing clan were astonished and their hearts started pounding. It was like they had fallen from heaven to hell. They were desperate. They hadn't managed to take the Wen clan's deployment mine either. Chapter 2103. Admitting their defeat. The strong cultivators of the Wen clan took deep breaths. They couldn't describe how they felt. They couldn't imagine what would have happened if Tianqi had failed. Apart from their own cultivators, the Jing clan had invited many other people, including some extremely strong cultivators. Unfortunately, The Wen clan had also invited some incredibly strong cultivators. When Tianqi had stepped on the battle stage, they had thought they still had a chance to win, but now they knew it was over. Tianqi went back to the group of people from the Wen clan. Many strong cultivators from the Wen clan stood up and bowed before Tianqi and Ban Ruo. They were so happy they said, "Thank you very much for your help. If you need anything, we'll do our best to help you." The deployment mine was extremely important to them. The two had managed to protect it. The Jing clan's cultivators looked glum. They had lost again. They hadn't managed to take either of the lesser clan's deployment mines. They were also staring at Tianqi and Ban Ruo. Who were those strangers? Where were they from? Even people who weren't from the Jing clan were wondering who those people were. Everybody had noticed Ban Ruo and Tianqi in the last fight. They had seen Ruoxia. These extremely strong cultivators had never been seen in Qingshan City before. With their strength, people would have definitely noticed them in Qingshan City. Everything was so mysterious. The members of the Yu clan were extremely happy. They had made an alliance with the Feng clan and the Wen clan, and those two clans had managed to protect their deployment mines. They were also worried at the same time. The Jing clan might do all they could, using their last trump cards to take their own deployment mine. If the Yu clan failed, the Jing clan would definitely suppress them. They couldn't fail either, just like the Yu clan and the Wen clan. "See you at the Yu clan's deployment mine," said the members of the Jing clan as they stood up. They rolled up their sleeves and left quickly. Everybody was watching them as they left, and they were under pressure. The Jing clan would definitely use their full strength to take this last deployment mine. It was their last and thus most important battle since they hadn't managed to take the others. Everybody knew that the Jing clan hadn't made their two strongest cultivators fight yet. People from the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry, Jing Ran and Jing Yen. Who are they going to fight against? "Let's go." The members of the Yu clan looked nervous. Their silhouettes flickered, and everyone followed them. The next round of battles was going to happen at their deployment mine. "Brother Ho, Brother Ruoxia, let's go and watch." The members of the Feng clan offered Ho Qinglin and Ruoxia politely. Ho Qinglin nodded. Of course he wanted to watch. The members of the Wen clan also asked Tianqi and Ban Ruo to come with them and watch. Everybody was going to the Yu clan's deployment mine to watch the battles. The next round of battles was going to be amazing. There were many people at the Yu clan's deployment mine. The crowd noticed Jing Yen and the others arriving. They were all there, including Jing Xiaoyu. Everybody watched the members of the Yu clan as well. They noticed Yu Lin, who was also a member of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry and had come back. Yu Yi, who was quite talented, was there too, as well as some others. Apart from them, there were some strong cultivators from Qingshan City the Yu clan had invited. "No need to talk too much. Yu clan, choose a fighter first," said the leader of the group of people from the Jing clan. They had lost the first two rounds of battles. They were wary, nervous, and on edge. Jing Xiaoyu gazed into the distance. She couldn't see Mu Chen. She looked disappointed. He wasn't going to show up? "Xiaoyu, don't wait for him. If I see him in Qingshan City, I'll kill him personally." "You almost wasted your life for him," said Jing Yen, who was standing next to Jing Xiaoyu. "Indeed, Xiaoyu, Mu Chen will not show up. This time, it'll be a battle to death. If he shows up, we'll kill him," said someone else. Jing Xiaoyu remained silent. She looked at the members of the Yu clan and noticed Lin Feng. What had he been trying to tell her? Lin Feng sensed something. He gazed into the distance and noticed Jing Xiaoyu too. He nodded at her, which made her eyes twinkle. She had some kind of premonition that Lin Feng knew Mu Chen. "Yu Lin, what do you think for the first battle?" Yu Kuan asked Yu Lin. That round of battle was too important for them. They had to be vigilant. They had no choice. "We'll have to choose people first for the first 3 battles. Su Mu and I can definitely win 2 battles. If anyone else can win, that would be perfect," whispered Yu Lin. He looked solemn and serious because apart from Jing Yen and Jing Ran, he had noticed someone else on the Jing clan side. They had invited someone else from the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry. The Jing clan had 3 people from the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry. Apart from Su Mu, They had also invited someone else who understood Dao's strength. The main issue was that they had to pick their fighters first. Yu, you go and try first, said a strong cultivator of the Yu clan to Yu Yi. Yu Yi is extremely strong. However, the Jing clan will do all they can. Yu Yi will definitely lose, everyone thought. A strong wind started blowing. Jing Ran landed on the battle stage. The crowd already considered he had won the battle when they saw him. Jing Ran was from the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry. Yu Yi couldn't possibly win. And that was how it ended up. Yu Yi lost really quickly. Jing clan relied on deployment strength to oppress her and then overwhelmed her, even injuring her. The Jing clan only had to win 3 battles with their cultivators from the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry. For the second battle, the Jing clan sent a strong cultivator they had invited. The Yu clan sent the only person they had invited from Qingshan City, who understood Dao's strength. They won. 2 battles, 1 victory, 1 defeat. Everybody was tense and nervous. Third battle, who is the Yu clan going to choose? If we lose this battle, we'll have to win the 2 others. But nobody can oppress Jing Yan, was the opinion of the strong cultivators of the Yu clan. It wasn't about courage and determination anymore. Without strong cultivators and without the possibility to choose according to the opposite clan's fighter, it was extremely difficult. Lin Feng looked at the members of the Wen clan. He looked at Tian Qi, they nodded at one another. A strong wind started blowing. A cultivator moved towards the Yu clan's members quickly. It was Xingzhan. A terrifying bestial qi invaded the atmosphere around him. He looked like a war beast. If the Yu clan trusts me, I am willing to help the Yu clan, said Xingzhan indifferently. Everybody frowned. Yu Kuan looked at the members of the Wen clan and a strong cultivator of the Wen clan said, Brother Yu, he's one of Master Tian Qi's fellow disciples who came to help us. You can trust him. When Yu Kuan heard this, his eyes twinkled. He had seen how strong Tian Qi was. All right, since you're willing to help, we accept and we're moved. If you win, we'll be incredibly grateful. Please go ahead then, Your Excellency, said the strong cultivators of the Yu clan. Xingzhan nodded and jumped onto the battle stage. The members of the Jing clan all had unsightly expressions. Tian Qi's fellow disciple? He was from abroad too. Why were all these people plotting against the Jing clan? Thanks for helping, brother, said Jing Yan, nodding at the strong cultivator next to him. It was his fellow disciple. He was extremely strong and also an excellent deployment spellcaster. He had to win. On the side of the Wen clan, a strong cultivator warned Tian Qi, that guy is from the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry, he understands Dao's strength and his deployment spells are terrifying. He's extremely strong. Apart from him, is Jing Yan also from the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry? Asked Tian Qi. Indeed, the strong cultivator of the Wen clan nodding. He didn't know why Tian Qi asked, but he replied anyway. I understand, said Tian Qi nodding. He looked at the battle stage and relayed that to Xingzhan telepathically. Your Excellency, please, said the strong cultivator on the battle stage to Xingzhan. However, Xingzhan smiled and said, I give up. Then, he jumped off the battle stage and went back to the group of people from the Wen clan. When the crowd saw that, they were all astonished. The members of the Wen clan, the Jing clan and the Yu clan were astonished. He just gave up? After that, the members of the Yu clan all looked quite pissed. Brother Wen, what is this supposed to mean? Exclaimed a strong cultivator of the Yu clan to the members of the Wen clan. He looked furious. The members of the Wen clan looked at Tian Qi and grimaced. Why had Tian Qi done that? Tian Qi looked calm as he looked back at the members of the Yu clan. He said, there are 2 more battles. Don't get angry. The Jing clan only has 2 fighters left. Even if the Jing clan takes the Yu clan's deployment mine, we'll help the Yu clan get it back. When the members of the Jing clan heard that, their smiles stiffened. Indeed, they had no great fighters left. If they stole the Yu clan's deployment mine, those people would cause trouble and help their opponents get it back? At that time, how would they solve the situation? Chapter 2104, Mu Chen's name. Who are those people and what do they want to do? Many people were asking. A short time before, They had helped the Wen clan keep their deployment mine. They were extremely strong. After that, they had come to the Yu clan, and when everybody thought they were going to help the Yu clan, surprisingly, one of them gave up. Were they plotting against the Yu clan? 3 duels had taken place, and the Jing clan had won 2 of them. One more, and they'd win and take the Yu clan's deployment mine. The strongest cultivator of the Jing clan, Jing Yan, hadn't fought yet. Who would be able to compete with him? Therefore, even if Tianqi said they'd take the Jing clan's deployment mine, the members of the Yu clan were still angry and all looked unsightly. If they didn't manage to keep their own deployment mine, how would they be able to take the Jing clans? What about the Wen clan and the Feng clan? If they didn't share a part of the profits, how would the Yu clan be able to keep the Jing clan under control? The Yu clan tried to think of a solution, but they felt desperate, as if they had already lost. They were almost certain they couldn't win both of the last 2 battles. 4th battle, said a strong cultivator of the Jing clan at that moment. A strong cultivator jumped onto the battle stage. This time, the Jing clan didn't make Jing Yan fight because they still had hope. They hoped they would not need to make him fight. They hoped to take the deployment mine after the 4th duel. That way, they would still have some trump cards in case the 3 other clans joined hands to take their deployment mine. However, the Yu clan couldn't give the Jing clan such an opportunity. They sent Su Mu from the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry for that battle and won it. They had both won 2 duels now. It was time for the last fight. For this battle, the Yu clan sent Yu Lin. The Jing clan sent Jing Yan. They were both terrifying deployment spellcasters. Their battle would determine who would get an extra deployment mine. Yu Lin, we can only rely on you now, said the strong cultivators of the Yu clan. Yu Lin was their last hope. This battle would be extremely difficult, but they couldn't afford to lose. Actually, Jing Yan was stronger than Yu Lin. He shouldn't lose either. Therefore, the Yu clan had the impression they had already lost their deployment mine. Thinking about that, the members of the Yu clan all felt depressed. Were they going to lose a deployment mine they had owned for thousands of years? Yu Lin took a deep breath. He had to fight. He had no other choice. He had to use his full strength. Jing Yan was staring at him. Wait. When Yu Lin started heading to the battle stage, Tianqi spoke up from the group of people from the Wen clan. The Yu clan frowned and looked over at him icily. What did that guy want? A moment before, because of him, they had lost a battle. Tianqi ignored Yu Lin's expression and ran over to the people of the Jing clan. Will Mu Chen show up? Tianqi asked the members of the Jing clan. When Jing Xiaoyu heard him, she was stupefied. The situation was more complex than she had expected. Why had Lin Feng asked about Mu Chen? And now, why was this guy asking about him? Did they know something about Mu Chen? The strong cultivators of the Jing clan frowned. The Jing clan had publicly announced that Mu Chen had left and didn't dare show up, but actually he had been imprisoned by them. He was in their black tower. They couldn't say that, of course. It's Mu Chen's problem. What does that have to do with the Jing clan? Retorted a strong cultivator of the Jing clan icily. If Mu Chen shows up, we won't get involved in your deployment mine competition. If you are sure that Mu Chen won't show up, we'll use our full strength to help the Yu, Wen, and Feng clans take your deployment mine. Warned Tianqi, he sounded neither angry nor happy, quite calm and composed. When the members of the Jing clan heard him, they all frowned and looked unhappy. Insolent, said a strong cultivator of the Jing clan icily. Jing Yan shouted coldly, if you want to fight, I'll fight against you. Tianqi remained silent and nodded. Then, he turned around and looked back at the people from the Feng clan. Ho Qinglin, Ruoxie and the others came out of their group and rose up in the air. They said to the members of the Feng clan, we'll help the members of the Feng clan take the Jing clan's deployment mine. Does the Feng clan agree? They are together. When everyone saw that, they frowned. Those strangers who were extremely talented were a group. At that moment, everybody understood something abnormal was going on. The eyes of the Feng clan's members twinkled. Many people stood up and looked at Ho Qinglin and said, Brother Ho, do you know them? Ruoxie, Tianqi, and the others are my fellow disciples, said Ho Qinglin calmly. The eyes of the Feng clan's members glittered. Ruoxie and Tianqi were extremely strong. They had seen that with their own eyes. They were all Ho Ching Lin's fellow disciples. If Ruo Xie and the others respected Ho Ching Lin that much, it meant that Ho Ching Lin was even more terrifying than they were. When they thought about that, the members of the Feng clan were excited. If they agreed, they might be able to take the Feng clan's deployment mine. Alright, today is our deployment mine competition. Since you, Brother Ho, want to help us, we are naturally ready to use our full strength to take their deployment mine, replied the strong cultivators of the Feng clan happily. Ho Ching Lin nodded at Tianqi, and Tianqi looked at the members of the Wen clan. We all agree to help the Wen clan take the Jing clan's deployment mine too. What does the Wen clan think? Asked Tianqi as well. We agree, of course, replied the strong cultivators of the Wen clan, smiling broadly. How could they refuse? At that moment, the members of the Jing clan all looked very upset. Those people were plotting against them. Jing Yan, no matter what, you have to win this battle and obtain the Yu clan's deployment mine, said the strong cultivators of the Jing clan. They had the feeling that losing their deployment mine was suddenly a possibility. They hadn't thought these people would plot against them. Yes, agreed Jing Yan firmly. However, at that moment, Tianqi said to the members of the Yu clan, we agree to help the Yu clan obtain the Jing clan's deployment mine and to protect your own. Trust me. The strong cultivators of the Yu clan looked at Tianqi. Trust him once again? What do you intend to do? Asked a strong cultivator of the Yu clan. Leave this last battle to us, said Tianqi calmly. The strong cultivators of the Yu clan frowned. Could they gamble with their deployment mine at this stage? I've heard that Yu Lin wasn't as strong as Jing Yan. If Yu Lin fights, you're almost certain to lose the deployment mine. If Yu Lin loses, you won't have any other strong cultivator to fight. If we take their mine, you'll get your share of the profits. If you trust me, even if we lose, you'll still be able to share the Jing clan's deployment mine, continued Tianqi. The members of the Yu clan remained silent for a few minutes, talking telepathically. After a few minutes, someone asked, Who will you send? Me, said someone. Everybody turned around and saw a blind sword cultivator. He walked out slowly, his eyes all white. He was quite calm, and didn't look like a strong cultivator at all. When the Yu clan saw Jian Mang, they remained silent. Could they rely on a blind man to keep their deployment mine? I don't agree, said Yu Lin icily. You don't agree, that's your problem. We came to help. If your mine gets stolen, you won't be able to help us take the Jing clan's deployment mine afterwards, so, rebutted Tianqi icily. All right, you can do it, said a strong cultivator of the Yu clan at that moment. Grandpa. Yu Lin was stupefied. They're right. The chances of you winning are low. Even if we lost, we'll still be able to take the Jing clan's deployment mine. Let them fight, said the old man calmly. All the other members of the Yu clan remained silent. Jian Mang slowly walked out and landed on the battle stage. He looked like an ordinary man, and on top of that a blind man. Jing Yan also jumped and landed on the battle stage, making the whole deployment mine area shake violently. He had an advanced understanding of deployment spells, and was extremely strong. The air he had was like he had won already. You'll die, promised Jing Yan icily. Then he started moving, and the air began to rumble with power. The whole deployment mine was trembling. Furious dragons roared, and energies surged towards Jian Mang. At that moment, Jian Mang also moved. He used his speed, and moved faster than almost anyone in the crowd could follow. Sword lights appeared and sliced through the air, slashed through the dragons. They couldn't even see his afterimages. So fast, like light, blurted out someone. Jing Yan was astonished too. He frantically released as much qi as he could as he cast deployment spells. An incredible amount of strength tried to catch Jian Mang. However, at the same time, Jian Mang suddenly opened his eyes and brilliant lights emerged from them. When Jing Yan saw them, he was blinded. No! Jing Yan's heart twitched. What kind of strength was this? His soul was being oppressed. Light Dao. He had had no time to fully release his strength. At that moment, the members of the Jing clan were astonished and shaking. They stood up and shouted, Jing Yan! At that moment, they were all surprised and worried for Jing Yan. The sword lights just flickered and destroyed everything in their way. Blood splashed. The sword lights nearly cut Jing Yan's body in two. The strong cultivators of the Jing clan jumped out to catch him. They stopped the bleeding. People's hearts were pounding. How strong? Who are these people? Who are you? The strong cultivators of the Jing clan demanded of Jian Meng. This bunch of bastards, they had thoroughly ruined the Jing clan's plans, and now they wanted to take the Jing clan's deployment mine. Ho Qing Lin came out and stood in the air. He looked at the members of the Jing clan. My name is Ho Qing Lin. Mu Chen is my teacher. My name is Tian Qi. Mu Chen calls me Little Qi. Mu Chen is my teacher. My name is Ruo Xie. Mu Chen is my teacher. They all came out and stood in the air. Mu Chen's name was resonating everywhere and making Qingshan City shake. Chapter 2105. Postpone. Those geniuses all shouted Mu Chen's name at the same time. Mu Chen is my teacher. Now they couldn't forget Mu Chen's name. These incredible geniuses were Mu Chen's disciples. They had come for Mu Chen. The Jing clan despised Mu Chen. They had thought he wasn't good enough to be engaged to Jing Xiaoyu. But now his disciples had come to Qingshan City for him, and they were furious. Everybody understood that they had come for Mu Chen. The members of the Jing clan understood that now, too. No wonder this group of people had come to ruin their plans. They even wanted to help the other clans take their deployment mine. Everything was for Mu Chen. However, Mu Chen wasn't really strong. Why were his disciples so strong? At that moment, Jing Xiaoyu's heart was pounding. These young people were at their prime. They were all Mu Chen's disciples. They had come for Mu Chen. If Mu Chen had seen that, he would have been so proud. But where was he? At that moment, the members of the Yu clan, the Wen clan and the Feng clan were all stupefied. They admired Mu Chen for having raised such great disciples. The terrifying blind sword cultivator had cut Jing Yan in two in one sword strike. His sword attacks were incredible. Were there stronger cultivators than him in this group of people? How strong was Ho Qing Lin? Yu Lin's heart was pounding. He was a genius from the Yu clan, the best of his generation in his clan. He had been accepted at the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry. Everybody admired him in their clan. In Qingshan City, everybody knew who he was. It was the same for Jing Yan, who was just a bit more famous than him in Qingshan City, but he had been cut in two with one sword strike. If that sword had been aimed at him, what would have happened? Yu Lin didn't dare imagine. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. Where were these people from? Why were they so strong? That sword had made Yu Lin shake. In Qingshan City, apart from Jing Yan, he looked down on everyone else. He had heard of Mu Chen, but he had never really cared about him. Now he wanted to know who he was. How had he raised such strong disciples? Mu Chen is my teacher. Those 5 words resonated in people's thoughts. Yu clan, who was behind the whole crowd of people from the Yu clan, was staring at Lin Feng. They're all your fellow disciples? Yu Xan asked Lin Feng telepathically. She remembered what Lin Feng had said, and now she understood. Lin Feng nodded once, barely. He looked at the cultivators of the Jing clan. Were they going to release Mu Chen? Yu Xan put her hand on her heart as she exhaled. It was pounding. This bunch of guys was terrifying. Ruo Xie had killed the fast sword of Qingshan in one sword strike, and the blind sword cultivator had defeated Jing Yan in one sword strike. She was curious to see how strong Lin Feng was. Ho Qing Lin and the others were standing there proudly. They all stared at the members of the Jing clan. 5 battles, the Yu clan won 3. The Yu clan's deployment mine remains theirs, said someone slowly. All the members of the Yu clan smiled broadly. Finally, it was over and they could keep their deployment mine. They had made the right decision. The members of the Jing clan were furious. Not only hadn't they managed to take the 3 other clans' deployment mines, but now they risked losing their own. According to the 4 clans agreement, the Yu clan, Wen clan and Feng clan can challenge the Jing clan to take their deployment mine, continued Ho Qing Lin slowly. The members of the Jing clan all grimaced, even more furious. They couldn't do anything about this. If they fought, they'd lose. Therefore, they all remained silent. Could they even fight? Even Jing Yan and Jing Ran stood no chance. The crowd was staring at Ho Qing Lin and the others. Were they furious because of Muchen? My teacher Muchen fell in love with Jing Xiaoyu. You could have refused and that's all. Why deceive Jing Xiaoyu though? Why pretend you made an agreement when you actually imprisoned him in the Black Tower? You are such bastards, said someone else. The crowd was stupefied. Muchen was trapped in the Jing clan's Black Tower? What? Jing Xiaoyu looked desperate, her face turned deathly pale. She looked at a middle-aged man and shouted extremely loudly, "That's the agreement you told me about?" The strong cultivators of the Jing clan all looked very unsightly. They were speechless. No wonder that you were so sure that Muchen wouldn't show up. You're so cruel. Jing Xiaoyu was petrified, furious, crushed. She had never thought her family members would lie to her like that. Xiaoyu, it was for your own good, whispered Jing Xiaoyu's father, walking up to her. For my own good? Jing Xiaoyu smiled mockingly. It's really for my own good. At that moment, the members of the Jing clan all looked at Ho Qinglin and the others icily and said, "What do you want to do? Release our teacher and don't prevent Jing Xiaoyu from leaving if she wants to. That way, we won't take your deployment mine," stated Ho Qinglin icily. The members of the Jing clan felt uncomfortable. A group of young people was threatening them. They were extremely talented, but in the eyes of the Jing clan, they were just babies. The members of the Jing clan remained silent. How could they keep their deployment mine? If they accepted, they'd fight and probably lose their mine. They would also lose massive amounts of face. Everybody already thought they were shameless for what they'd done to Muchen. Everybody would make fun of the Jing clan in Qingshan City. Everybody was waiting for their reply. The Jing clan, the best clan of deployment spellcasters in Qingshan City, what were they going to do? "Give us 3 days to think," said a strong cultivator of the Jing clan. Ho Qinglin and the others frowned and said icily, "Will you release him or not? Why would you need 3 days to think? We want to postpone the deployment mine competition for 3 days. If the Yu, Feng, and Wen clans don't agree, then we'll resort to war. Of course, we don't hope to go that far. We also propose to increase the limit of 3 people to 5, said the strong cultivators of the Jing clan. They didn't look at Ho Qinglin and the others anymore. They didn't fear Ho Qinglin, the deployment mines were more important. The Jing clan was sly. They changed the topic, not replying to Ho Qinglin's question. They just said they wanted to wait for 3 days. The members of the 3 clans looked at Ho Qinglin and the others. After all, they couldn't fight over the deployment mines anymore, they could only rely on those strong young people. "All right, we'll give you 3 days. If my teacher runs into trouble during those 3 days, we'll use our full strength to destroy the Jing clan," said Ho Qinglin icily. They were worried that the Jing clan would harm Muchen. They had come from the Dark Night region, nobody would support them in godly clouds. If they threatened the Jing clan, maybe they wouldn't harm Muchen. "In 3 days we'll answer your question," said the strong cultivators of the Jing clan evasively. They all stood up and left silently. Jing Xiaoyu left it. She was going to the Black Tower. Tiantai's cultivators looked glum. However, in 3 days, the Jing clan wouldn't be able to avoid the issue. "Brother Ho, 3 days will pass quickly. I'm sure that Muchen will come back safe and sound. Come with us to the Feng clan to rest for these 3 days. Master Tianqi, let's go back too. You'll have a good rest in the Wen clan." The Feng clan and Wen clan all invited these incredible young people to go with them. If their young people exchanged views on cultivation with these young people, it would be extremely beneficial. The strong cultivators of the Yu clan walked up to Ho Qinglin and the others, and Yu Kuan said, "You are all extraordinary geniuses. If you have time, please come to the Yu clan, we'll treat you well as a sign of gratitude for today." When Ho Qinglin and the others heard that, they looked at Lin Feng and the others in the distance. Lin Feng didn't say anything, which meant that they hadn't treated him that well, so they didn't need to go there. As long as Lin Feng stayed there, the Yu clan didn't need anyone else, just like before. "No need. We're going back to the Feng clan and Wen clan. We'll see one another in 3 days. We hope the Yu clan will help us then." "Yes, you helped us keep our deployment mine. We will do our best to save Muchen. It's a pity that you're not willing to come to the Yu clan though," Yu Kuan sighed. "When we save Muchen, we'll come visit your clan," said Ho Ching Lin politely. After a few sentences, they left. Everybody dispersed. The Yu clan also left. Uxian wanted to say something, but she didn't. She wanted to tell the Yu clan that Lin Feng was their friend, too, but since Lin Feng didn't say anything, she tried to control herself. Maybe that he had his own ideas. 3 days, whispered Lin Feng. He sincerely hoped the Jing clan would release Mu Chen. At the same time, the members of the Yu clan were chatting. Yu Lin, if you have time, go to the Feng clan and Wen clan to spend some time with those geniuses and exchange views on cultivation. Indeed, those people are extremely strong, sighed Yu Yi. As if Yu Kuan had thought of something, he gazed into the distance and looked at Lin Feng, who was still next to Yu Xen, and smiled. Lin Feng, did you learn anything from the battles today? Yes. Lin Feng nodded. The world of cultivation is vast. Your teacher is a great scholar. He probably knows some great deployment spells. However, don't forget about cultivation itself. You probably learned a lot today, said Yu Kuan with a smile. Yu Xian's eyes twinkled. She wanted to say something, but she didn't. Chapter 2106. News in the Yu clan. Lin Feng was in his spirit world, seated cross-legged. In front of him, someone was running around at lightning speed unceasingly. Suddenly, the silhouette exploded into fighting booms accompanying every movement. Qi rolled as the air shook. Qi condensed into a punch and turned into a vortex. Cosmic energies danced and blew apart. That punch was pure strength. Dancing windy clouds, said a giant next to Lin Feng. The silhouette changed. Energies pulsed continuously. A hand streaked across the sky, leaving a beautiful trail behind. Many silhouettes appeared. The wind moaned and condensed. Energies continued pulsing. The energies didn't completely condense. They dispersed and the silhouette fell back to the ground. It's still not enough. When your 9 dancing windy clouds are better, you'll be able to control that body. But to control the full strength of that body, you'll need to study much more, said the giant. That silhouette looked at the giant and nodded. Lin Feng controlled the saint's body with his soul. It didn't have a consciousness, so he could control it easily. He needed to drive it, though, and for that he needed to learn how to move it quickly and how to use its full strength. But his soul wasn't strong enough. He did his best, though, and tried to get more familiar with it. After all, a saint's punch was much more powerful than his own. I'll continue practicing cultivation, said the saint, nodding. Then he continued running and getting familiar with that body. A thread of Lin Feng's soul came out of the body and moved back into his body. His real body opened his eyes. In the Jing clan, people were still furious. Jing Yan's injuries were much better. At his cultivation level, as long as someone's physical body wasn't completely destroyed, they could recover. However, they couldn't have the same strength as before for a long time when their injuries were too serious, especially in Jing Yan's case. After all, Jian Mang's sword attack contained light Dao. What should we do, master? Many people were looking at an old man at that moment. He was one of the 2 saint emperors of the Jing clan. Jing Yan, how many resources does your teacher have? The old man asked Jing Yan. He has a lot of resources. He wants to create a deployment spell clan. But first we have to give him 1/3 of the deployment mine, replied Jing Yan. When the crowd heard him, they were stupefied. 1/3 of the deployment mine. Did they want to destroy the Jing clan? That's too much. Hand Mu Chen over. Even if we lose face, at least we won't need to lose 1/3 of the deployment mine, said someone angrily. 1/3 was too much. Uncle, you're wrong. He wants to create a clan. He'll definitely make the Jing clan happy, replied Jing Yan carefully. His uncle frowned and said, what you mean is that he'll destroy the 3 other clans? Of course. Then we'll share equally. The Jing clan won't lose anything that way, said Jing Yan icily. He had suffered a crushing defeat. He didn't want the Jing clan to give in and release Mu Chen. Can we keep the situation under control? My teacher is greedy, but he won't go too far. Besides, he won't open a clan of deployment spellcasters in Qingshan City. He just needs resources, Jing Yan promised. If your teacher gets involved, can he definitely defeat those people? After all, they are extremely strong. Don't worry. All my fellow disciples are extremely strong. Those people won't be able to escape from them. Besides, many of their people have already fought. They must have, at most, 1 or 2 people who are strong as that blind sword cultivator. Regarding Yu Lin, none of my fellow disciples is weaker than him. One of my friends is even getting ready for the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds, Jing Yan said calmly. He knew how strong his fellow disciples were. He couldn't invite his fellow disciples who were getting ready for the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds even if they were good friends. Only his teacher could do that. When the members of the Jing clan heard Jing Yan, they all remained silent. One middle-aged man asked, Jing Yan, what about your sister? After that we'll kill Mu Chen. Prevent her from leaving for a while, then after some time she'll forget about him and we'll introduce a nice and outstanding man to her, said Jing Yan. Everybody remained silent again. They all looked at the old leader of the Jing clan. He was the only one who could make the final decisions. Finally, his eyes glittered and he said to Jing Yan, tell your teacher about this. If he promises he won't open a clan in Qingshan City, and if he accepts sharing the deployment mines with us, invite him to come. All right. Jing Yan's eyes glittered and he nodded. Leave it to me. The Yu, Wen, and Feng clans didn't know about this agreement. Lin Feng and Ho Qing Lin didn't know either. They were calmly waiting for the 3 days to pass. 1 day was left. Some news spread that the Jing clan accepted the challenge. Also, they wanted to change the place of the battles to the central battlefield of Qingshan City. They seemed to be conveying a hidden message. If we can't protect the deployment mine, it doesn't matter, nobody will be able to take it from us anyway. The news spread everywhere in Qingshan City. People in Qingshan City were talking about it everywhere. Everybody knew and took delight in talking about the battle which had taken place 2 days before. Everybody knew what had happened and who Mu Chen was. They also knew that Mu Chen's disciples were terrifying. Now the Jing clan had surprisingly accepted their challenge. Did they have other trump cards? Everybody was impatient and couldn't wait to see the battle. Some people had seen how strong Jian Mang and the others were, and they couldn't wait to see those who hadn't fought yet. Some of them had missed the battles, and they didn't want to miss them this time. Maybe this time the battles were going to be even better than 2 days before. In the Yu clan, Yu Xian saw Lin Feng and told him the news. Lin Feng frowned. He hoped to rescue Mu Chen without a fight. However, the Jing clan wouldn't give them such an opportunity. Does the Jing clan have other trump cards? Asked Lin Feng to Yu Xian. No. The Jing clan's strongest cultivator is Jing Yan and he suffered a crushing defeat. In any case, he can't fight again. The only trump card they have would cost them a lot. They'd need to ask someone outside for help. However, your friends are all so strong, asking for help would be useless. In Qingshan City, there aren't such terrifying cultivators unless… Yu Xian looked pensive and frowned. Unless what? Asked Lin Feng. You know that Jing Yan and Yu Lin are from the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry. They have some contacts. Unless they ask the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry for help, they can't do much, and I don't think Jing Yan can get them to help. He needs some extremely strong cultivators for that, said Yu Xian. Lin Feng was suddenly a bit worried. It was indeed a resource the Jing clan could mine. That bunch of bastards, said Tantai icily. We should have destroyed them on that day and stolen their deployment mine. Things aren't that easy. The Jing clan said they needed time. Do you think the 3 clans could have started a war against them? Yu Xian said to Tantai. The answer was obvious. Even if they invite people from the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry, so what? I'll crush them with 1 punch, said Tantai. He hadn't fought the previous time. He was ready to fight now. Yu Xian's beautiful eyes twinkled and she smiled at Tantai. Big boy, how strong are you? I think I should be able to defeat Jing Yan easily, said Tantai smiled and scratched his head. Yu Xian was stupefied and speechless. Jing Yan was the strongest cultivator of Qingshan City in his generation. This guy dared say he could defeat him easily? What about him? Asked Yu Xian, smiling at Tantai and pointing at Lin Feng. Tantai listened to Lin Feng all the time, so if he could defeat Jing Yan easily, what about Lin Feng? Tantai shook his head and smiled. I'm not sure either, to be honest. Silly boy, thought Yu Xin looking at Tantai. Lin Feng, Yu Xin, said someone at that moment. They turned around to see Yu Yi and Su Mu arrived. Sister Yi, said Yu Xin politely. After all, Yi had a high position in the clan, so she had to be polite. She couldn't act as naturally as she could when she was with Lin Feng and Tantai. Yu Yi nodded and didn't look at her, turning and saying to Lin Feng, the Jing clan doesn't intend to give up their deployment mine. It will be a deadly fight. It has nothing to do with you, however, there will be some dangerous fights. If you want, we can go and watch together. All right, good, said Lin Feng, smiling and nodding. Of course he was going to go. The Jing clan will regret everything, said Tantai icily. When Su Mu heard Tantai, he looked at him disdainfully and asked, You think the Jing clan will lose? Of course, said Tantai. Su Mu shook his head and left with Yu Yi. He said indifferently, This time, the Jing clan accepted the challenge. It means that they will pay the full price and invite people from the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry to come and help. With the strong cultivators of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry, they can't lose. Su Mu was also from the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry. He knew them quite well. If the Jing clan invited people from the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry, the Jing clan couldn't possibly lose. The Jing clan was able to oppress 3 clans alone before, and if Ho Qing Lin hadn't gotten involved, they could have taken all 3 mines themselves. Chapter 2107 Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry's strong cultivators. He thinks that the cultivators of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry are the strongest in the world. They got crushed 2 days ago, though. Tantai said icily, watching Su Mu leave. The Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry isn't the best. Tantai talked loudly and Su Mu heard him, suddenly turning around and looking at Tantai icily. Even though the Yu clan might be going to face some cultivators from the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry, Su Mu was from there too, and he couldn't let anyone humiliate the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry. People like you can't understand. You think everyone is as strong as that blind sword cultivator? Said Su Mu smiling icily, then he said to Yu Yi, Little Yi, how can the Yu clan have guests like this? He left and disappeared into the distance. Yu Yi smiled wryly. She turned around and glanced at Lin Feng. He was a guest in the Yu clan, but she said nothing. She just left with Su Mu. Even though Lin Feng's teacher was a great scholar, Lin Feng's social status wasn't as high as Su Mu's. Su Mu was a member of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry, and he was also trying to get close to her. Empty words, said Tantai, watching Su Mu leave. He was furious and explosive qi began to build around him. I really want to teach him a good lesson. No need, said Lin Feng calmly. At that moment he was thinking about Mu Qin. If the Jing clan did that, what could he do on the day after? Even if he defeated the Jing clan and obtained their deployment mine, what could he do afterwards? Obtaining a deployment mine wouldn't make them release Mu Qin. And how would the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry get involved? He couldn't do anything but wait. Time seemed to pass so slowly. The morning of the next day, Lin Feng, Yu Xian, and Tantai gathered together with the other strong cultivators of the Yu clan. They were getting ready to depart for the fight. When the strong cultivators of the Yu clan arrived, they noticed that Lin Feng and Tantai had already arrived. They were surprised. Yu Kuan smiled and said, Lin Feng, my boy, you're really determined. He's just very ignorant, said Su Mu, who was standing next to Yu Kuan. Yu Kuan was surprised and looked at Yu Yi strangely. Yu Yi smiled wryly and used telepathy to explain to Yu Kuan what had happened the day before. Yu Kuan didn't say anything, and after that, he didn't say anything else to Lin Feng. The group of people rose up into the air and flew towards the fight's location. The members of the Wen clan and the Feng clan were also heading there. Apart from them, there were many other people gathered there who wanted to watch. The Yu clan is here. Only the Jing clan hasn't arrived yet, the crowd murmured when they saw the members of the Yu clan arrive. Their eyes were twinkling. Those who had helped the 3 clans defeat the Jing clan 3 days before were there too, Ho Qing Lin and the others. They had come for Mu Chen. What were they going to do? Brother Ho, have you already thought of the people for the 5 battles today? A strong Yu clan cultivator asked Ho Qing Lin, who was with the members of the Feng clan. Ho Qing Lin was a junior in comparison with him, but he respectfully called him brother. We'll see who can fight on the Jing clan side, said Ho Qing Lin calmly. He looked at Lin Feng a little worried. What could they do if the Jing clan refused to release Mu Chen? Yes, I'm convinced your friends are all extremely strong. We'll win, said the Yu cultivator, smiling thinly. If the Jing clan had called people from the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry, it would be difficult for Ho Qing Lin and the others to do as they wished. People from the Jing clan are here. The crowd gazed into the distance. A group of strong cultivators arrived slowly. Even the elder of the Jing clan had come personally. Jing Yen and Jing Ran were there as well. They looked confident and at ease as they looked over the crowd. Many people had cold sweats. They had the impression there was something wrong. Jing clan, you came to battle, but are you going to release our teacher? Asked Ho Qing Lin calmly while walking forwards. However, he wasn't calm on the inside. Fight, said a strong cultivator of the Jing clan indifferently. Ho Qing Lin took a deep breath and said, Tiantai's disciple will step onto the battle stage to kill today. A terrifying energy began to fill the air. The sun was shining and it was a warm day, but those energies felt ice-cold. Ho Qing Lin was crazy. Kill people? The strong cultivators of the Jing clan smiled cruelly and said, You can try. When the crowd saw their cold smiles, they knew something strange was going on. In the distance, some qi began to surge, and the wind roared furiously. A powerful and ferocious qi swept over. What a powerful bestial qi! What kind of beast is that? Thought the crowd gazing into the distance. In front of the sun, there was a gigantic beast. It had the head of a lion and the body of a bird, with gigantic wings. It looked particularly ferocious and made the whole crowd shiver. What a terrifying beast! It seems extremely strong. The crowd was astonished, especially when they saw a group of 5 people standing on that beast. On the edge of the wings, there were 2 people wearing deployment robes. Their qi looked extraordinary. They also glanced at the watching crowd disdainfully. On the head of the beast was a young man, his robe fluttering in the wind like an aloof king. It's him. Yu Lin frowned. His cheek twitched. The Jing clan had invited him too, and the 4 other people were strong too. The 3 clans were definitely going to lose. Phew, he surprisingly came. What price did the Jing clan pay? Su Mu took a deep breath when he saw that young man. His heart even started pounding. Even though the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry was a powerful group, there weren't many people who were at the very top of the Huang Qi layer there, and the young man on the head of the beast was one of them. He was initially getting ready for the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds, but today he had come to Qingshan City. When the Yu clan's members saw Yu Lin and Su Mu's expressions, they realized something was going on and asked Yu Lin, Who's that? Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry, a cultivator of the top of the Huang Qi layer who has no enemy at the same cultivation level, Yu Lin said solemnly and respectfully. A cultivator of the top of the Huang Qi layer who had no enemy at the same level. Some people were more talented than some others. Some people broke through to the Di Qi layer when they reached such a level, but some people needed more time to make their strength mature. Those people could easily kill ordinary great emperors. Some people who had no enemy at the same level were even stronger than some people who had already broken through. They were rare and powerful. When Lin Feng heard the words, who has no enemy at the same level, he remembered those cultivators of the very top of the Zunqi layer who had no enemies at the same level either. Back then, those people understood cosmic energies already, or their force had already been multiplied by 1,000. However, at the level of the Huang Qi layer, it meant only one thing: fighting abilities. Nobody said that about themselves, not even geniuses. The continent was too big. There couldn't be one person who had no enemy at the same level in the whole world. Therefore, it referred to some people who were getting closer and closer to the literal meaning of that concept. In godly clouds, it probably meant that that person was qualified to participate to the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds. A cultivator who has no enemy at the same level. All the members of the Yu clan were stupefied. Then they heard Su Mu say, "He's also an emperor. However, Yi Ke can kill ordinary emperors of the top of the Huangqi layer. Yi Ke is very strong. In the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry, he's like an overlord," said Yu Lin and Su Mu. The faces of the Yu clan's strong cultivators twitched. The Jing clan had surprisingly invited such terrifying people. They really wanted to protect their deployment mine. What about the 4 others? They're also extremely strong. I can't participate in that battle. Let them fight, Yu Lin said indifferently. He wanted to give up the Jing clan's deployment mine already. He was convinced that if Ho Qing Lin and the others fought, they were going to die. Lin Feng overheard Yu Lin and Su Mu. He frowned. Maybe they were afraid not because those people were too strong, but because those people's social status was too high in the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry. The Jing clan had surprisingly invited such people. Lin Feng thought about that. The members of the Yu clan also thought about that. At that moment they looked pensive. What price had the Jing clan paid to bring these people here? I hope that Yu Lin and Su Mu will make friends with those people when they go back to the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry. That way, they will never do anything against the Yu clan, thought some strong cultivators of the Yu clan. The beast landed in front of the members of the Jing clan. The members of the Jing clan greeted them politely. Many people from Qingshan City had now realized there was something wrong. "Brother Yi Ke, I wouldn't have thought you would come to Qingshan City. If I had known that, I would have come to pick you up," said Su Mu politely, bowing before Yi Ke who was on that beast. "Brother Yi Ke, since you came to Qingshan City, the Yu clan will do their best to welcome you warmly," said Yu Lin, waving at Yi Ke politely. Many people were speechless. Yu Lin and Su Mu were members of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry too, and they were so polite to that man who was of the same generation as them. It meant that they belonged to different worlds. Chapter 2108 Humiliation. When Yi Ke heard Yu Lin and Su Mu, he looked at the members of the Yu clan and said indifferently, "Since you are from the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry, you may not participate today." "Understood, brother." Yu Lin and Su Mu nodded. When the members of the Feng and Wen clans heard that, they pulled long faces. Su Mu and Yu Lin were so respectful to him, they didn't even dare contradict him. Initially, they had thought Yu Lin would help, but now he didn't dare fight. The members of the Feng clan and the Wen clan looked at Ho Qing Lin, Tian Qi, and the others. The battles were going to be difficult. Ho Qing Lin frowned. Then he turned to the strong cultivators of the Feng clan and said, "The Jing clan asked to postpone the battles of 3 days. They should choose fighters first, right?" Yi Ke and the others gave Ho Qing Lin some pressure. Jian Mang, Tian Qi, and Ruoxie had already fought. Lin Feng and Ho Qing Lin could win a battle. But what about the 3 other ones? Jing Shou and Tan Tai might be able to win a battle too, but it wasn't sure. Therefore, if they could choose fighters according to the enemies, that would be better. "Yes, they should," replied a strong cultivator of the Feng clan. He stood up and said, "Since we've been waiting for you, you should choose people first, right?" Yi Ke looked at the strong cultivator of the Feng clan aloofly and said disdainfully, "You surprisingly care about who chooses their fighters first. They surprisingly dare talk to outstanding cultivators of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry that way," agreed a strong cultivator of the Jing clan, sneering. "This battle is not necessary. You should have made them surrender, but since our teacher told us to come, blood will flow now," Yi Ke said arrogantly. "This bunch of little boys dares talk empty words," whispered Tan Tai icily. He came out of one of the Yu clan's palaces in the distance. Yu Lin frowned and looked at Tan Tai, whispering, "You're ignorant, like a frog in a well." Yi Ke was extremely well known in the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry, so in Qingshan City, he was considered even stronger. He was an incredible cultivator. At the same cultivation level, almost nobody could compete with him. Even some great emperors couldn't compete with him. The Jing clan had surprisingly invited such people over. "Hopelessly stupid," retorted Tan Tai icily, glancing at Yu Lin. Yu Lin looked back at him coldly. Lin Feng tapped Tantai's shoulder to tell him to calm down. Arguing with Yu Lin was useless. Now that the members of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry were there, what could they do? Lin Feng only thought of Mu Chen, nothing else. Ho Qing Lin brought the members of Tiantai to the front and looked at Yi Kei and the others calmly. He said indifferently, "Blood will flow? Since it's that way, if you fight today, you represent the Jing clan and we can kill you if we are able to?" "Yes." The members of Tiantai looked aloof and composed. The atmosphere was oppressive at that moment. People finally remembered that these people were talented too. 3 days before, they had astonished the whole town because of their teacher. However, the 5 cultivators who had come from the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry were beasts. Yu Lin and Jing Yen looked like insects next to them, especially in front of Yi Quebec. Yu Lin, Su Mu, and the others all looked to him respectfully. "Ridiculous. So you... First battle, you go," said Yi Quebec. A young man who was on the left wing of the beast instantly responded, "All right." He jumped forwards, moving quickly and landing instantly on the battle stage. He released chi towards Ho Qing Lin and the others, the air humming. His cosmic energies had fused together with force. Those energies mainly targeted Ho Qing Lin. "Who's coming to die?" asked Su Yu calmly. His chi kept humming. His teacher had ordered him to come, now he wanted to kill. He didn't just want to protect the Jing clan's deployment mine, he wanted to take all the others. What a powerful chi! Apart from chi, Ho Qing Lin sensed something else, another kind of strength. Dao power. The Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry was very famous in Godly Clouds. They had many geniuses, especially since Godly Clouds was the central part of the continent. Su Yu raised his hand and a gigantic black sword appeared. It looked heavy and endless because it was so long. He put it on the ground. There was a rumble as a cloud of dust appeared. The ground trembled. Marks appeared all around the sword as a thick strength surrounded his body. The atmosphere became oppressive. Back then, Su Yu killed an arrogant high-level emperor in one sword strike. His strength is almost unmatched at the same cultivation level. Yu Lin sighed. This battle was going to be tragic for Mu Chen's disciples. "Powerful force, I'll go," said Ho Qing Lin calmly. He slowly walked out. His robe fluttered in the wind. He walked onto the battle stage and stretched out his hand. He grabbed the sword on his back. He was moving slowly and naturally. Both fighters' forces were incredible. That Ho Qing Lin is those people's second fellow disciple. He must be extremely strong, and now he's going to fight the first battle, analyzed the crowd. A heavy sword versus a swift sword. Su Yu smiled mockingly. The air crackled as he charged towards Ho Qing Lin while brandishing his gigantic sword. Stars appeared all around the battle stage. Strident sounds pierced through people's eardrums. At the same time, a powerful, thick, and heavy force bore down on the whole battle stage. Ho Qing Lin's force and chi changed. A strong wind started blowing and the air began to buzz wildly. A vortex appeared around him, filled with reincarnation strength. Ho Qing Lin also started moving forwards. A hurricane roared furiously around him. Reincarnation strength filled the air and blotted out the sky. The energies weighed millions of Jin. Reincarnation, he controls reincarnation Dao. The aura was pressing down, people's hearts started pounding. How strong! It wasn't easy to tell who was going to win now. Su Yu's expression slightly changed. However, his sword continued streaking across the sky. Marks kept intertwining on the battle stage. They turned into powerful dazzling deployment lights, making the gigantic sword even more powerful. "Die!" shouted Su Yu explosively. The heavy sword hacked towards Ho Qing Lin. However, Ho Qing Lin was crazy when fighting, nothing could distract him. He had to bear the pressure. Reincarnation lights penetrated into his enemy's godly awareness and body. Who was going to suffer more? Su Yu's arm descended, his sword moved towards Ho Qing Lin. Ho Qing Lin sensed the pressure, and had the impression his body was going to explode. However, his sword moved too. It absorbed reincarnation lights, and Su Yu's body began to distort. He was falling into the wheel of reincarnation. He's crazy. His attacks are so swift, But he looks extremely aggressive, thought Lin Feng when he saw that. He was still convinced that Ho Qing Lin was going to win. Ho Qing Lin couldn't be weaker than his opponent. The crowd was shaking. Even their souls were trembling. However, the atmosphere on the battle stage had already calmed down. Ho Qing Lin looked crazy as he took a deep breath. He had the impression his body was going to be crushed. It felt like the earth and sky were about to collapse. However, he still looked confident and at ease as he turned around and walked back to Tiantai's people. Everybody was staring at him. He had won. Regarding what was on the battle stage, only a gigantic and heavy sword was left. Su Yu had already disappeared. There were still some intertwining marks left on the ground. However, they weren't enough and hadn't protected him. Ye Kei felt humiliated. They had lost the first battle. He had the impression he had been slapped in the face. Ye Kei frowned and looked at Tiantai's people with murder in his eyes. He could look furious, but it wouldn't change the result of the battle. The members of the Jing clan were astonished. Su Yu had been killed? He was a genius from the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry, and he had been killed because of the Jing clan? The members of the Yu clan were astonished too, especially Yu Lin and Su Mu. Their thoughts were shaking. They felt ridiculous for what they had said just before. Oh wow, the cultivators of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry are so strong, said Tiantai mockingly. Ho Qing Ling had humiliated them, how awesome. Those two morons kept talking about how strong Su Yu was before the battle. Su Mu and Yu Lin heard he was making fun of them and frowned, but what could they say? Su Yu had been killed, it was a fact. Chapter 2109. Tiantai's explosive temper. The four cultivators on the beast's back looked furious and glared at Tiantai's people with murder in their eyes. Their qi began to vibrate, especially Ye Kei's. Many people couldn't handle his qi, so they moved further away. Even some young people of the Jing clan couldn't stand near him. How strong! The people from the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry are furious now, chatted the crowd. These battles were going to be deadly. Ho Qing Lin is those people's fellow disciple. He won the first battle, but the others aren't as strong as him. They won't be able to defeat the extremely strong cultivators of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry. The crowd nodded to one another. 5 battles had to take place. Tiantai's strongest cultivator had won the first battle, so many people thought the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry would win the remaining battles. Second battle, I'll go, said Jing Shou indifferently on Tiantai's side. No rush, said Ho Qing Lin calmly. Jing Shou was strong, he could win, and Lin Feng was going to win too. Tiantai's people didn't even wonder when they'd send Lin Feng, he was definitely going to win, so they didn't rush. Even though Tiantai's people had won only 1 battle so far, they considered they had already won 2, just like the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry considered they had already won 1 battle thanks to Yi Quebec. Tiantai's people were wondering who they could send for a third victory. Jing Shou could probably win one, so Ho Qing Lin didn't want him to rush. Mu Bei, they'll definitely try to kill you. When they release Qi, you leave and surrender. No need to fight to death, said Ho Qing Lin to Mu Bei telepathically. The Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry would naturally win the second battle. All right. Mu Bei nodded and jumped forwards, landing immediately on the battle stage. Die! Shouted the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry's cultivator when he landed on the battle stage, attacking instantly. At that moment, his qi turned into a beam of light and shot towards Mu Bei. People around the battle stage were shaking. Mu Bei waved his hands, and stone plates descended from the sky and bombarded the qi. However, his expression slightly changed and he withdrew quickly. You think you can escape? The strong cultivator of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry chased him closely. However, many words appeared in the air and exploded one after another, slowing him down. By the time they were done, Mu Bei had already jumped off the battle stage and said, I give up. Arg! That person shouted explosively. His qi turned into a dragon and charged Mu Bei. Ho Qing Lin smiled icily, releasing sword qi which snuffed out the dragon quickly. You don't even dare fight, coward, said that person, glancing at Mu Bei icily. He returned to the beast's back. The crowd sighed. As they had thought, Mu Chen's disciples couldn't compete with these people. 3 days before, they had made the blind sword cultivator fight, as well as a few other extremely strong cultivators. Otherwise, they would have had a chance to fight against these people. They're smart at least, they are trying to avoid losses, Su Mu said calmly from the middle of the Yu clan. The one who had just fought was also a genius from the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry. Among those 5 people, apart from Yi Kei, he was the next strongest of the group. Third battle, it's your turn, said Ho Ching Lin, not letting anyone distract him. A strong cultivator jumped forwards. He looked like a sharp weapon, his chi sharp. He resembled Wang Jian, whom Lin Feng had killed in the past. He probably practiced weapon cultivation. Jing Shou, this battle is yours, Ho Ching Lin said to Jing Shou. Jing Shou nodded. Back then he had joined Champion University before Lin Feng and the others, and had already ended up second on the higher ranking list. Only Ji Wuyo was above him. After that, Lin Feng and the others had displayed incredible talent, and Jing Shou had decided to help Lin Feng manage a secret force of Tiantai. At the same time, he had also obtained the Celestial Evolution Holy Scriptures, so he wasn't any weaker than Ho Ching Lin and the others, and he progressed as quickly as they had. Being friends with many geniuses was a good environment to progress quickly as well. Geniuses could help one another. If one of them didn't progress quickly enough, the others could help them out. When Jing Shou jumped onto the battle stage, the crowd couldn't see his hands because they were in his sleeves. The members of Tiantai knew why. He had the hands of an assassin because back in the day, he was the first assassin from their homeworld. The strong cultivator of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry moved, and deployment lights filled the battle stage like a spider's web, turning into a pattern. At the same time, his body was surrounded by a sharp weapon chi. It was like he could destroy the sky. His chi seemed endless, and shot towards Jing Shou. What a strong cultivator! The 5 members of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry are terrifying. None of them is weak. They're terrifyingly strong. The crowd chatted when they sensed that chi. I wonder whether this guy is as strong as Ho Ching Lin, or whether he will surrender and escape, mused some wags. Jing Shou started moving. His body turned into an illusion, and his silhouette became blurry. He was moving swiftly, but it seemed difficult to catch him. What a mysterious agility technique. It's an invisible and intangible illusion. Even the terrifying weapon strength can't reach him. That guy wants to fight, it seems. He's really strong. The watchers finally realized. His hands were still in their sleeves. Die! Shouted the strong cultivator of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry loudly. He hopped around, his weapons emitting furious humming noises. Energies pulsed, driving thousands of long spears to impale everything. One mistake and those energies would pierce him through. At that moment, Jing Shou finally moved his hands. Illusions appeared, all silhouettes of Jing Shou. Were those clones? Cut! Spat the strong cultivator of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry icily. A hand streaked across the sky, and a gigantic blade chopped through a few silhouettes. However, there were still a great many of them. They didn't seem to be corporeal, and continued closing in on him. Ice-cold lights suddenly appeared next to the ministry cultivator. One of Jing Shou's silhouettes turned into a real body of Jing Shou. He suddenly raised his left hand and a gloomy dark light appeared. It was a dagger thrusting towards the man's head. The ministry cultivator was angered, his blood boiling. More weapons appeared, trying to hack apart that silhouette. However, danger came from the other side. Another illusion turned into a real body. The dark dagger was thrusting at him again. How dangerous! How can he hide with his arms? Wondered the audience. Which one was Jing Shou? His attacks weren't very aggressive. It was like the illusions could vanish anytime. At that moment, blood splashed as one of the ministry cultivator's arms was cut, and he was driven backwards. The silhouettes followed. How savage! He looks like a beast. The crowd frowned. The cultivators on the back of the beast were shocked and looked unsightly. Rumbling sounds spread in the air. Yi Kei jumped off the creature and shot towards the battle stage. "Move away!" shouted Ye icily, explosions lashing in front of him. The battle stage started cracking. His friend was already behind him. Jing Shou's silhouettes all shattered and he was injured, driven away as blood splashed. Tiantai's people were shocked. How ridiculous! The Jing clan invited such people to come and fight? "We lost this battle," said Ye icily. Then, he added sounding indifferent, "No matter what, there are 2 more battles, the last 2 ones, come together." What an asshole! Tiantai couldn't handle it anymore, he was losing it, he shouted explosively. "He lost and you dare get involved? The Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry is a bunch of morons? How ridiculous!" Su Mu frowned, he turned to Tiantai and said, "Watch your words. You 2 are stupid assholes as well. We're fighting for your clan, the Yu clan, and you're hiding and putting your tongue in the enemy's asshole. You're ridiculous," said Tiantai mockingly. Yu Lin moved towards him and said icily, "You want to die." "I want to die?" shouted Tiantai explosively. He jumped towards Yun Li and released Qi to the skies. He was furious and threw himself at Yu Lin. At that moment, Yu Lin pulled a long face, as did the other members of the Yu clan. When they sensed his Dao power and strength, they shivered. He was this strong? There were 2 loud crashes of brutal impacts, and Yu Lin was smashed far away as blood sprayed out. He awkwardly came back on his feet and stared at Tiantai, his face turned deathly pale. "You're a damn piece of shit. I'll crush you, asshole. We'll see if you continue acting arrogantly in front of me every day like you've been doing," shouted Tiantai. He was furious now and kept swearing at the other man. Yu Lin felt extremely humiliated. Chapter 21:10. A silhouette stepping onto the battle stage. "You're a damn piece of shit. I'll crush you, asshole. We'll see if you continue acting arrogantly in front of me every day like you've been doing." His voice resonated everywhere in the surroundings. The crowd was astonished and shaking, especially the members of the Yu clan. Their hearts were pounding violently. They were all staring at Tiantai. At that moment, Tiantai was furious and his strength kept exploding around him. A lion appeared around his fist. The first genius of the Yu clan, who also practiced cultivation in the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry, had been smashed away and was bleeding. The worst thing was that the Yu clan had never taken Tiantai seriously before. Su Mu and Yu Lin had made fun of him numerous times. The Yu clan's members' hearts kept pounding. Su Mu and Yu Lin felt humiliated. They had humiliated Tiantai a few times, and he had put down Yu Lin in one punch. Just before, Yu Lin had said he wanted to kill Tiantai. Yu Xian's eyes were wide. She had thought that Tiantai was strong, but she had never thought he could be that strong. One punch and he had crushed Yu Lin. Yu Xian thought of Yu Kuan, Yu Yi, and the others. They had never thought that Lin Feng's friend could be so strong, that such an amazingly strong cultivator could have been staying in their clan. They had just been cold to him. Yu Xian was astonished. At that moment, Yu Lin released a terrifying qi towards Tiantai. A little dog needs a good lesson to submit. Tiantai was aggressive. The clash of their power erupted in the air. He jumped forwards as lofty as a tower. The crowd had the impression they were looking at a lion king, wild and mighty. He shouted furiously but nobody heard him. His shout just resonated in Yu Lin's skull. It almost made his soul and body explode. The strength of a lion oppressed him. Yu Lin already had the impression he was going to be crushed even though Tiantai was still running towards him. Yu Lin was the strongest emperor of the Yu clan. He was really terrifyingly strong. But when facing someone who had such a strength as explosive as Tiantai, he felt weak. Yu Lin was smashed away again, the sounds of bones shattering accompanying him. He had the sensation his arms had been crushed, his right arm was hanging loose. His face was white as a sheet. That time, Tiantai didn't say anything, he just acted and proved he was strong. Yu Lin was a proud man. Since he also practiced cultivation in the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry, he was considered a strong cultivator in the Yu clan. Amazingly, someone could oppress and humiliate him like this? Phew! The members of the Yu clan were astonished. The first genius of the Yu clan was being crushed by Tiantai. Tan Tai was a guest of the Yu clan. They had all thought he wasn't strong, and he was Lin Feng's fellow disciple. Wait, there's something wrong. At that moment, Yu Kuan, Yu Yi, and the other members of the Yu clan realized something. They slowly turned around and looked at another young man. Lin Feng had brought Tan Tai to the Yu clan. Tan Tai kept listening to Lin Feng's orders. Tan Tai was extremely strong, so what about Lin Feng? When they realized that, the members of the Yu clan were astonished, especially Yu Yi, who had met Lin Feng first. Her beautiful eyes glittered. Lin Feng, the Yu clan had ignored Lin Feng, but how strong was he? If Lin Feng was as strong as Tan Tai, then he could already be considered a genius. Tan Tai was furious. He kept swearing furiously, "A bunch of morons. Stupid celestial remarkable deployment ministry. You lost, so you lost. Why did that shameless bastard have to come? A bunch of shit. You Lin, Su Mu, and the others, you are a bunch of shit." Then, Tan Tai looked at EK and said icily, "You guys lost the third battle, you want to fight the fourth battle?" EK frowned. Even though Tan Tai was strong and had defeated Yu Lin, he wasn't strong enough to fight against Quebec. The crowd was astonished. So initially the Yu clan also had some members of Tian Tai, Mu Chen's disciples? The Yu clan understood something. Tan Tai and Lin Feng were also Mu Chen's disciples. They had invited Ho Qing Lin and the others to come to the Yu clan, but they had ignored Lin Feng and Tan Tai, so they hadn't come. Jing Xiaoyu wasn't too surprised. She looked at Tan Tai and Lin Feng. Lin Feng had talked to her before. After what had happened, she had guessed that Lin Feng was also one of Mu Chen's disciples. She was relieved. Those people were all geniuses. Even if he died, at least he had left a great legacy behind. His disciples were all so outstanding, they could make the whole town tremble. I told you the last two battles, two at the same time. You can come if you want. I will show you the power of the celestial remarkable deployment ministry, said Yi Ke as his cold chi filled the air. If he didn't get involved and Tian Tai sent someone like Jing Shou again, a fifth battle would be useless. Therefore, he wanted to change the rules and fight against two cultivators at the same time. The rules could be adapted to different people sometimes. The celestial remarkable deployment ministry could choose the rules here, not Qingshan City. This battle isn't important to us, said Ho Qing Lin at that moment. When the crowd heard him, they looked over. Ho Qing Lin wanted to give up? This battle should have ended 3 days ago. We gave the Jing clan an opportunity to release our teacher. Initially, I wanted to exchange a deployment mine for my teacher. But the Jing clan doesn't care about rules. I was wrong. I think the Jing clan lost today, and they proved it, said Ho Qing Lin calmly. He continued slowly, today we could have distinctly differentiated the winners and the losers, but the celestial remarkable deployment ministry are like the Jing clan, a bunch of despicable and shameless people who never admit their defeats. You're proud and arrogant, you don't care about rules. You think you're just too amazing. I'd like to ask you, if you lost, would you do like the Jing clan? You wouldn't have handed over the deployment mine, right? When the crowd heard Ho Qing Lin, they had the same thought. What if Yi Ke had lost? Would the Jing clan have handed over the deployment mine? Nobody could be sure. Since the Jing clan had gone against their word already and invited some geniuses from the celestial remarkable deployment ministry, if they lost, maybe they would find another excuse. Would the Yu clan force the Jing clan to give them their deployment mine? But could Yi Ke lose? Nobody thought so. Yi Ke certainly didn't think so. The members of the celestial remarkable deployment ministry didn't think so. The Yu clan and the Jing clan both didn't think so. Yi Ke was an emperor who had no enemy at the same level. Even if you won some battles, you are not eligible to stand before brother Yi Ke, sneered a young man standing behind Yi Ke on the beast. Ridiculous. You are stupid. You can't defeat Quebec. That's the most ridiculous thing I've heard this year, said another one slowly. Yi Ke was an emperor who had no enemy at the same level. Before the battle, you thought nobody was going to lose these battles, and when you did lose a few ones you violated the rules, said Ruoxie calmly. We humiliated you. And now nobody dares admit they've lost. Ridiculous, said someone else. The members of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry and Tiantai were verbally jabbing one another. The clans just watched. A strong wind started blowing. The atmosphere became oppressive. "Just reply, will you fight or not?" said Ye calmly. "Of course we'll fight. One-on-one," replied Ho Ching Lin. Tiantai's people looked at him nervously. Why was he so self-confident? Tiantai headed towards the battle stage. The crowd was stupefied. Tiantai. However, Tiantai stopped. If he didn't fight, who would? At that moment, the one they had ignored slowly walked out of the group of people from the Yu clan and headed towards Tiantai's people. Yu Yi frowned and stared at that silhouette. She was shocked. The Yu clan's people were stunned as they watched him. Yu Yi was staring at him. Tiantai's people watched him too. He was walking slowly. Everybody was staring at him as he walked ahead slowly, that person everybody had ignored. It's him. Jing Xiaoyu was stupefied. Ye Kei's people were also staring at him. Lin Feng. Yu Xian's heartbeat accelerated. Lin Feng walked up onto the battle stage. Tiantai's people watched him. Yu Xian remembered what Tiantai had told her. "You will understand what kind of person he is." Yu Yi looked at Lin Feng. Yu Lin and Su Mu just stared. That calm and composed young man, it was the first time that they were going to see him fight. For some reason, he made their hearts beat faster. Finally, Lin Feng stood on the battle stage, facing Yi Quebec. However, Lin Feng didn't even look at Yi Kei. He looked at the people who were behind Yi Kei and said calmly, "You will see that the joke isn't very funny." Chapter 21:11. Is that joke funny? The cultivator who was facing Yi Kei wasn't tall. He didn't release terrifying waves of energies. He looked quite calm and poised. Behind him, Tiantai's people looked totally confident as well. They didn't say anything. It was as if everything was as it should be. Is he the strongest cultivator of Tiantai? Thought Yi. Her lips moved, but she remained speechless. She just looked calmly at that young man. He had never shown them how strong he was. He had always remained calm, even when the Yu clan despised him, because he didn't actually care. His main target was the Jing clan, and more precisely, Muchen. When Yu Kuan saw that, he understood something. When he saw how Tiantai's people reacted, he understood immediately that Lin Feng was one of Tiantai's strongest cultivators. However, could he compete with Yi Kei? Yu Lin frowned. He looked like a sly and vicious snake. Tiantai had humiliated him. His cheeks still burned as if he had been slapped in the face. From now on, people in Qingshan City would make fun of him, but Tiantai was stronger than him, it was a fact. The members of the Jing clan all watched Lin Feng. The members of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry were also staring at Lin Feng. He looked very sure of himself. Maybe he was like Yi Kei and thought he couldn't lose? To the cultivators of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry, he was just ridiculous. How could he possibly compete with Yi Kei? Yi Kei looked imposing and awe-inspiring. He looked at Lin Feng aloofly and arrogantly. He smiled disdainfully and said, "At the same cultivation level, very few people dare face me and look that self-confident. When they do, I usually crush their self-confidence." Lin Feng just looked at Yi Kei calmly. He said, "Just like my second fellow disciple said, we don't care about winning or losing. However, you want to prove how strong you are, what if you lose?" When Yi Kei heard Lin Feng, he was stunned. Then he smiled mockingly and said, "You're still so self-confident." He jumped forwards and explosions sounded. Lin Feng had the sensation his muscles were going to explode. Smashing Dao. Lin Feng was startled. Yi Kei moved forwards and released his strength at the same time. It was getting more and more explosive. Yi Kei's chi was increasing rapidly. Lin Feng's soul also started shaking. "Consciousness smashing," shouted Yi Kei icily. He released an endless amount of smashing Dao and oppressed Lin Feng's soul. Lin Feng could feel that his soul was meant to explode. However, he remained calm and steady. It was very difficult to crush Lin Feng's soul. At that moment, his chi increased and sword intent began to vibrate furiously. The sword energies converged on him. He raised his hand and absorbed them, and then used those sword energies to destroy the smashing Dao strength. A light flashed. With Lin Feng's sword attack, it felt like time and space had stopped. Sword lights moved towards Yi Quebec. Yi released explosive intent. His chi kept pulsing and increasing. Smashing weapon. Yi raised his finger and his intent fused together with his Dao power. Two light beams appeared and the air seemed to shatter before them. Everything turned to dust. How strong, someone blurted out. The atmosphere had become quite oppressive, and they all felt under pressure. Lin Feng's sword lights were halted. However, Yi Kei's intent and the lights which emerged from his fingers also stopped. Both cultivators were extremely strong. Yi Kei was strong. Lin Feng was strong. That calm guy who had spent some days in the Yu clan was extremely strong. His sword attacks could easily kill cultivators at the top of the Huangqi layer. And it was just the beginning. It was as if millions of swords had been humming. Sword holy spirits appeared around Lin Feng. Lin Feng moved forwards and his swords cut everything before him. People had the impression they were looking at a mirage. Yi Kei's chi was still increasing, and he was also moving forwards. The ground kept shaking. He attacked the sword energies in front of him, as if he could destroy anything on his path. The two cultivators were getting closer and closer to one another. Lin Feng's sword energies were moving faster and faster. Swords descended from the sky, shining and cutting through everything. Yi Kei was also in a rush. He kept punching out hard enough to make the heaven and earth tremble. The dazzling sword energies couldn't reach him. This cultivator from the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry who had no enemy at the same level was really strong, without a doubt. If you can only do that, then you're far from being able to compete with me, declared Yi Kei calmly. He was getting closer to Lin Feng and releasing smashing Dao intent. He moved and deadly lights moved with him. Deployment energy filled the air. A terrifying strength fused together with his attack as his energies surrounded Lin Feng. Lin Feng had the impression he could die anytime if he was careless. He's a cultivator who has no enemy at the same level. People who will participate to the meeting of the continent of the Nine Clouds are really strong, thought Lin Feng. He raised his fist and punched out. With his other hand he released ancient imprints. Words appeared in the sky. The words of his incantation appeared in the sky and floated around. They surrounded Lin Feng and resonated along with the earth and sky. Millions of sword threads condensed around Lin Feng, and his desolate cosmic energies condensed too. Lin Feng transformed into a sword king. His cosmic energies were extremely powerful. His aura wanted his opponent to submit before the will of a sword god. What a terrifying chi! And this is the 9-syllable incantation. The crowd frowned. Yi Kei sensed that Lin Feng's chi was powerful, but he just smiled icily and sneered, "You know some good spells, but that's still not enough." Then, Yi Kei did some hand seals. His intent continued rising to the skies. Destruction of the earth and sky. The 10,000 things of creation can be destroyed, weapons and consciousness cannot resist. Everything must be smashed, shouted Yi Kei loudly. He condensed the strength of the 10,000 things of creation. It looked similar to some attacks Lin Feng knew, as he could also condense the strength of the 10,000 things of creation. Smashing Dao and a terrifying chi made the whole crowd shiver, and their hearts started pounding. These two cultivators were terrifyingly strong. They could easily destroy some common great emperors. Yi Kei moved again. Deployment lights condensed around him and turned into smashing strength. His strength kept increasing. Yi Kei is terrifying. His attacks are terrifying, but so are his deployment spells. "You're not the only one who knows deployment spells," said Lin Feng calmly. He stretched his hands out and moved them a few times. Celestial stages appeared and turned into flights of stairs. Lin Feng's celestial stage deployment spell condensed. It looked quite imposing. "Great celestial smashing hand, die!" shouted Yi Kei explosively. Strength surged out and destroyed everything in its path. At the same time, Lin Feng also condensed the strength of the 10,000 things of creation and the earth and sky. It turned into a sky-destroying sword. His 9-syllable incantation also became more powerful. A gigantic sword streaked across the sky and moved across the celestial stage deployment spell. His strength resonated at the same pace as the earth and sky. Around Lin Feng, millions of sword shadows appeared. People's hearts were pounding furiously, staring at the oncoming collision. Brilliant lights appeared around the two fighters. Only one of them could win. The lights faded away, and the winner appeared. Lin Feng was standing in the middle of the destructive qi, unharmed. Yi Kei was smashed off the battle stage, on his knees, and kept coughing up blood. He raised his head and stared at Lin Feng, unable to believe what had just happened. He couldn't accept his defeat. "Deployment spells? Your deployment spells are extremely powerful," muttered Yi Quebec. If Lin Feng hadn't used deployment spells, he wouldn't have won. However, Lin Feng's deployment spells were terrifyingly powerful, and now Yi Kei had suffered a crushing defeat. "The deployment spells of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry are just SOSO, Lin Feng said calmly. The air was eerily silent. The members of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry, the Jing clan, and the Yu clan all remained silent. Yi Kei had lost. Yi Kei had unexpectedly lost. Yi Kei was an emperor who had no enemy at the same level, and he had lost. Lin Feng walked up to Yi Kei and looked down at him. The silhouettes of the members of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry flickered, charging towards Lin Feng. He glanced at them with his pitch-black pupils. Cursing and death strength emerged from his eyes and intercepted them. At the same time, he punched out in their direction. The geniuses of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry couldn't compete with him. "Did you think that joke was funny?" said Lin Feng to those people indifferently. He sounded like a demon. Nobody said anything. Chapter 21:12. Cruel punch. This unknown, proud, and arrogant young man was standing on the battle stage. He had attacked Yi Kei and made him bleed. Everybody remained silent, listening to their hearts beat. They were astonished. How strong! Yi Kei, a genius from the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry, hadn't been able to withstand a punch from this guy. Was that joke funny? Nobody laughed. Yi Kei was still coughing up blood. His injury was serious. Phew! How incredible! He clearly made that talisman himself, thought Yu Kuan, taking a deep breath. He was staring at Lin Feng. He had ignored such a strong cultivator, instead waiting for his teacher. He didn't know that cultivator was such a beast. Their best cultivator of the Huangqi layer, Yu Lin, couldn't compete with Yi Quebec. If Yu Lin and Lin Feng had fought, Lin Feng could have killed him easily. Yu Lin and Su Mu's faces had turned deathly pale. They realized they were nothing in comparison to Lin Feng. "What do you want to do?" Yi Kei's face was red and twitching. He was staring at Lin Feng. Lin Feng didn't look at him though, merely replied calmly, "You lost, don't you feel ridiculous? Do you think that joke was funny?" Yi Kei coughed uncontrollably again. He looked like he was in agony. He had never thought he'd lose like that. Lin Feng then turned to the members of the Jing clan and said, "Mu Chen's disciple, Lin Feng." They had already guessed that, but when they heard it they were still stunned. He wanted to dazzle for Mu Chen, to avenge his teacher. Lin Feng's goal wasn't just to be acknowledged as a strong cultivator, he wanted the Jing clan to release Mu Chen. At that moment, Jing Xiaoyu's eyes were red. Mu Chen's disciple, Lin Feng. It was a calm announcement, but it made everybody's heart pound, just like the previous time when Mu Chen's disciples had all said, "Mu Chen is my teacher." The Jing clan was now under great pressure. "He's a member of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry," said a strong cultivator of the Jing clan. He was staring at Lin Feng with murder in his eyes. "You're still trying to play games." Lin Feng was furious. The members of the Jing clan had invited cultivators from the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry, which meant that they had contacted some strong cultivators of the ministry, otherwise people like Yi Kei and the others would have never shown up. If Lin Feng killed any of them, maybe the important people of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry wouldn't let him off. But since Lin Feng was backed up by 3 clans, would the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry say anything? Would the Jing clan keep their deployment mine? The Jing clan was thinking that they were going to keep their deployment mine and that they were backed up. If Lin Feng killed those people, Jing Yan's teacher would have a reason to kill him. He couldn't do much to them, he was just an outstanding young man. He couldn't kill Yi Quebec. As long as Yi Ke didn't die, the Jing clan didn't mind. Even Jing Yan's teacher wouldn't say anything. Therefore, the strong cultivators of the Jing clan protected Yi Quebec. They didn't dare let Lin Feng off, because they were worried he could kill Yi Ke. The geniuses of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry are pieces of trash. And the members of the Jing clan don't want to bear the consequences for their actions. Death intent emerged from Lin Feng's eyes. He raised his hands and suddenly death intent exploded out from them. Lin Feng instantly killed that ministry cultivator, his soul dispersed. The Jing clan wanted to play games? Then Lin Feng had to kill. When the crowd saw that cultivator of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry die, they were astonished. It was the second cultivator of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry to die. The Jing clan wasn't going to bear the responsibilities for their actions? When the members of the Jing clan heard Lin Feng, they were even more furious. Someone started advancing on him, and great imperial energies surged out towards him. His hand streaked across the sky, making a beam of light appear. However, Lin Feng waved his hand and disappeared. He reappeared above that cultivator, a dazzling column of light descended from the sky and moved towards that man. It was like time had stopped. That cultivator turned his head around and released all the qi he could in desperation. However, dozens of swords appeared and sliced him apart. Lin Feng landed back on the ground and glanced around. He said icily, "The Jing clan will pay the price for their actions." A silhouette jumped forwards, the earth and sky trembled. The powerful great imperial strength oppressed everything and shot towards Lin Feng. That kind of strength could easily destroy an emperor. Is that enough? The Jing clan is truly shameless, said a strong cultivator of the Feng clan icily at that moment. He slowly stood up. "You lost several times and you keep being arrogant. Hand over your deployment mine now," said the strong cultivators of the One clan as well, releasing pulsing waves of qi. The strong cultivator who was oppressing Lin Feng was a celestial emperor. Initially, this battle was between the 4 clans of Qingshan City. The Jing clan would have lost the first time, but they had asked for 3 more days and then had invited people from the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry. Even with the desperate reinforcements, they had lost. But the Jing clan didn't want to admit they had lost. "You people from Tiantai killed people from the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry, you think you'll get away with it?" sneered a strong cultivator of the Jing clan icily. The Celestial Emperor moved again. Lin Feng had the sensation he was stuck in a terrifying hurricane and going to collapse. He couldn't resist a Celestial Emperor. "You're distorting the truth deliberately," said the strong cultivators of the Feng clan and the Wen clan. Only the Yu clan remained silent. They had some people who practiced cultivation in the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry, after all. They knew that the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry wouldn't forgive them if they got involved, so they had to shut up. It was better not to get involved and not to invite trouble. Even though they admired Lin Feng for his talent, they couldn't offend the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry. The biggest clans of Qingshan City didn't dare offend them. Therefore, the members of the Yu clan remained silent, and that was the best they could do. Lin Feng had a sneering smile on his face. He had hoped to solve the situation using the simplest solution. After all, even though Tiantai's disciples were extremely talented, they needed time to become extremely strong, which is why they had decided to help the 3 clans. However, the Jing clan kept plotting against them, and it wasn't easy to solve the situation that way. Lin Feng slowly turned around and left the battle stage. At the same time, a dark shadow came out of the crowd, looking quite bestial. "You think you can leave like that?" said the strong cultivator of the Jing clan. A strong wind started blowing. A gigantic hand swept out towards Lin Feng. However, at that moment, the dark silhouette moved like the wind across the battle stage. The dark silhouette grabbed Lin Feng and rose up into the air, at the same time releasing a punch which made the air tremble. Umph! The Celestial Emperor sensed the newcomer's strength. However, that person just had a powerful strength, but hadn't released qi, so the Celestial Emperor didn't fear him. He stretched out his hand. Explosions began to shake the atmosphere. A terrifying strength pounded out in the direction of the dark shadow. He could probably destroy the interloper easily. The terrifying strength smashed into the silhouette, and nothing happened. The newcomer continued moving towards the Jin Celestial Emperor, a mysterious strength emerging from his body as he punched out in the Jin man's direction. Just a simple punch. The punch destroyed the Jin's Celestial Emperor's attack, stunning him. His hand turned into claws, and he waved them several times, using spells against the interloper. However, nothing happened. It was like that dark silhouette couldn't sense pain. He punched out again, and everything dimmed around him. How is that possible? The Celestial Emperor's face turned deathly pale. His spells were extremely powerful. He could bring his hand down and kill endless amounts of people, but this person's physical strength was too terrifying. Even if they had been a top-level Celestial Emperor, he should have sensed something, or at least injured the other. Even Saint Emperors would have sensed something. However, that dark shadow gave him nothing. The Celestial Emperor retreated, but it was too late. The punch reached his throat. There was a rumbling explosion as a huge hole appeared in his body. The dark silhouette continued moving towards him. He desperately threw everything he could at the dark silhouette, but his target didn't even react. He just grabbed the Celestial Emperor's body and shook him, blood splashing as he ripped the Celestial Emperor's arms off. He didn't stop, moving faster than most people could see. He grabbed the Celestial Emperor by the waist and drove him into the ground before punching him. Terrifying sounds of impact jolted people's hearts. The Celestial Emperor was being ripped apart alive. Blood kept spraying everywhere. He was slowly turning into a bunch of crushed bones and flesh. Chapter 21:13. Rescue cruel, explosive, emotionless, cold. The crowd was astonished and staring at the scene on the battle stage. Their faces kept twitching. It was yet another time they had been astonished today. Who is that? Everyone was staring at that cruelly brutal and violent person. They sensed no qi emerging from his body, but his strength was astonishing. He had ripped a Celestial Emperor's body apart with his bare hands. The Celestial Emperor had attacked him, but nothing had worked. Everybody was wondering what that person's cultivation level was. He didn't seem to have a cultivation level, he was just a body. However, even Qin Shan was astonished when he saw this. The Doomsday Auction House had many incredibly strong cultivators, but that body was useless to them. They knew it could be a saint's body, but even knowing that, they decided to sell it. It was perfect for Lin Feng. He had obtained it and could use and control it. He had studied hard to control it properly. Lin Feng knew that even if he could not use the saint's spells, at least he could use his physical strength. A saint emperor couldn't destroy that body, only saints could. Physical strength was essential, that's why it was part of the tests on the Holy Way stage. The members of the Jing clan all looked astonished. Even though they were one of the 4 most powerful clans of deployment spellcasters in Qingshan City, Celestial Emperors were considered as extremely strong cultivators in their clan. Losing a Celestial Emperor was a true tragedy for them. What was that person's cultivation level? At that moment, the body raised his head and suddenly moved at the speed of light towards Quebec, back, shouted the strong cultivators of the Jing clan extremely loudly. A strong cultivator of the Jing clan grabbed Yi Kei and withdrew as quickly as he could. At the same time, a few people advanced, and gigantic walls appeared to block the man. There was an explosion as the man destroyed the wall and didn't stop, he punching out with both hands. The air thundered, 2 great emperors were struck and blew apart. The empty man continued moving incredibly fast. He looked like a god, his body indestructible. The crowd felt pressured, as if mountains were falling onto them. No cultivator of the Jing clan can stop him? Including Celestial Emperors? Who would dare try? Who is so insolent? Someone proclaimed at that moment. An overwhelming oppressive energy filled the air as another strong cultivator appeared. Master! The members of the Jing clan were delighted. The strong cultivator descended from the sky, condensing strength and attacking that empty man. The empty man was finally shaken and driven backwards. Finally, someone managed to make him move. The strong cultivators of the Jing clan were still in shock and staring at the empty man. However, when the man raised his head, he was safe and sound, totally uninjured. And there was still no qi around him. What the hell is that thing? The elder of the Jing clan was astonished. The empty man had no qi and the elder's attacks were useless against him. The elder of the Jing clan condensed strength, stretched out his hands, and the atmosphere completely changed as a globe of energy appeared. He bombarded the empty man, metallic sounds spreading and piercing through people's eardrums. However, the crowd saw that the empty man didn't fear that attack. He also punched out in the elder's direction. Lin Feng wanted to try using the saint's body. Even Qin Shan was astonished when he saw this. That body was really impressive. The terrifying attack of the elder drove the empty man into the ground, a crater appearing around him. The crowd drew a deep breath, staring at the two fighters. After a short time, the body came out of the crater, still moving like the wind. The crowd couldn't believe it. What was that? Or who was that? An immortal body? The Saint Emperor's attacks drove him into the ground, but didn't destroy him. The crowd was staring at him. The Saint Emperor frowned and murmured, "Who are you?" His godly awareness reached out for the empty man. The empty man immediately punched out, the air distorted and the godly awareness lights broke apart. "Old buddy, what's going on?" asked someone in the distance as more qi pulsed out. An old woman arrived at full speed. "That guy is so strange. I can't destroy him. He doesn't die," said the Saint Emperor icily. The old woman who had arrived looked at the saint's body. She focused on him and started attacking. There was a rumble as the empty man crashed into the ground again. However, after a short time, he simply came out of the crater again. "So strange. Is it a puppet?" wondered the old woman. "How could a puppet be so strong? I could destroy a puppet in 2 strikes, at most," said the old man indifferently. The old woman nodded. She looked at the empty man. She had doubts. After a short time, she gazed into the distance and looked at the members of Tiantai and Lin Feng. "Old man, the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry lost?" "I think so," the old man nodded. The two old people frowned and stared at Lin Feng icily. "The Jing clan wants to continue playing?" Lin Feng asked those two people calmly. "You're quite arrogant, little boy," said the old woman icily. "You dare despise old people?" "He's talented, so being arrogant is normal," said the elder. "But that kind of people should die." The two old people were chatting, and the crowd sighed. The Jing clan didn't intend to give up their deployment mine. The Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry had gotten involved, so the Feng clan and the Wen clan didn't dare steal the Jing clan's deployment mine either. "You're more and more shameless as you get old. You lost, you're so angry that you vent out your anger on young people?" said someone icily in the distance. The Saint Emperors of the Wen clan and the Feng clan arrived and landed next to Lin Feng and the others. Ho Qing Lin, Tian Qi, and the others had already told the Wen clan and the Feng clan to get ready just in case. Tiantai's disciples were extremely strong, so the two clans had decided to help a little too. "What? You want to take the Jing clan's deployment mine?" demanded the two Saint Emperors of the Jing clan. "Of course. You wanted to steal ours too," retorted the Saint Emperor of the Feng clan icily. "Mind your own business," said the elder of the Jing clan icily. "The Jing clan violates rules, the Yu clan doesn't care," said the members of the Feng clan and the Wen clan, looking at the members of the Yu clan. The members of the Yu clan frowned. It wasn't as easy. At the same time as those people were talking, someone wearing a black robe arrived at the Black Tower. That person looked graceful, dainty, and delicate. She had a beautiful face, but she looked quite angry. "Who?" Two silhouettes at the top of the Black Tower jumped out, but the woman suddenly moved. A second later, she grabbed those two people's throats and their faces turned deathly pale in fear. "Master," said the two guards, begging for their lives. "Open the Black Tower," said Tang Yu icily. Those two people grimaced. More people arrived. Among them was a celestial emperor. The Jing clan kept their prisoners in that tower, so the guards had to be strong. Nobody could release them easily. Tang Yuyu suddenly threw those people away and released her chi. 3,000 shadows appeared and moved in all directions while releasing strength. In only a short time, the Celestial Emperor attacked by Tang Yuyu was injured. Tang Yuyu had his life in her hands. He had to open the deployment spell of the Black Tower. "Release everyone who's inside," said Tang Yuyu, glancing at those people. They all frowned at the 3,000 silhouettes around them. Their faces went deathly pale. They didn't dare go against her orders. They could only release the prisoners. "Huh? Who came to save me?" said someone happily at that moment. Many people came out of the Black Tower. In the tower, the Jing clan kept people who they couldn't just kill. Mu Chen was injured. When he came out and saw Tang Yuyu's beautiful face, he was stunned. Naturally, he recognized her. Chapter 21:14. Oppressing Tang Yuyu was delighted to see Mu Chen. She knew that Lin Feng cared about Mu Chen a lot, and Mu Chen had been gravely tortured in the Black Tower. She was furious at his condition. She looked at the people who came out of the Black Tower. "Thank you very much for saving us, Master," said those people. Many of them were extremely strong, but they couldn't break the Jing clan's deployment spells. When they came out and sensed Tang Yuyu's chi, they were very grateful. Today, the two ancestors of the Jing clan are out. "If you want to get your revenge, you have to move fast," said Tang Yuyu icily. People's eyes twinkled. Of course they wanted their revenge. Die. Destroy the Jing clan. The prisoners released chi. They knew they had to act fast. They didn't waste time talking and entered the Jing clan's territory. Tang Yuyu's silhouette flickered, moving to grab Mu Chen. "Teacher, what is the state of your injuries?" Tang Yuyu asked Mu Chen. She looked worried. "I'm not too badly injured. However, I am astonished by how strong you are, and you still call me teacher? I remember when you became Lin Feng's watcher. Back then you didn't even call me teacher," replied Mu Chen, smiling gently. He would have never thought such a thing would happen. He was stunned. It was just too unbelievable. Back in the days, Tang Yuyu had been a watcher. She was a half-disciple to Mu Chen, but now she had become way too strong. "It's different today, teacher," said Tang Yuyu, smiling as she grasped Mu Chen's arm. Mu Chen was stunned and said, "Why, are you and Lin Feng that little boy?" "Yes," said Tang Yuyu, smiling shyly. She said, "Teacher, I became so strong because an extremely strong cultivator sacrificed his life for me. I didn't become strong relying solely on myself. It's impossible to progress so fast. I came to save you because Lin Feng asked me to." "Lin Feng is here too?" Mu Chen frowned. "Yes, we're all here. Many of Tiantai's disciples are here. They are preventing the Jing clan's strong cultivators from coming here. They even managed to lure the Saint Emperors of the Jing clan to them. When those two arrived, the others informed me I could act and break the Black Tower. But the members of the Jing clan are now getting attacked. They will quickly notice this." Tang Yuyu smiled significantly. Mu Chen remained silent and overwhelmed for a long time. He finally smiled and said, "I'm proud of my disciples. You're also like my disciple." Just like Tang Yuyu said, when the Jing clan's Black Tower was destroyed, some people of the Jing clan quickly learned about it. The two Saint Emperors pulled long faces when the news was sent to them. "I wouldn't have thought you'd resort to sly methods and attack our Jing clan by surprise," said the elder, staring at Lin Feng with murder in his eyes. "You're so shameless, I admire you." "If the Jing clan hadn't been sly and shameless, I wouldn't have needed to do that," retorted Lin Feng icily. Lin Feng had used the saint's body, and the Saint Emperors of the Wen clan and the Feng clan had arrived as well. The two Saint Emperors of the Jing clan had to retreat and bring their people back with them. Otherwise, these insane young people would kill them all. "I'm off. You stay here," said the old woman icily. Someone had just informed her that the Jing clan was under attack, that their prisoners wanted to get their revenge. She had to return. The strong cultivators of the Jing clan knew that there were some terrifying cultivators in the Black Tower who had been imprisoned many years before. The members of the Feng clan and the Wen clan were startled. They wouldn't have thought that Lin Feng would be so smart. He had decided to take drastic measures to deal with the emergency, and had so many trump cards. When the crowd saw how the two Saint Emperors of the Jing clan reacted, The crowd realized how resourceful Tiantai's people really were. They knew Lin Feng was extremely talented. These young people were all geniuses. "You will pay the price for your actions," said the elder of the Jing clan icily. He couldn't attack him there though, it was too risky. "Pay the price?" Lin Feng smiled in a strange way. "It seems that you still don't understand what will happen." The elder of the Jing clan frowned. Could Lin Feng do anything else to them? "Masters, you want the deployment mines?" asked Lin Feng. "Of course," said the two masters. The Jing clan wanted to steal theirs. Why wouldn't they take the Jing clan's deployment mine then? However, they were still a bit worried. Unless they became one clan, could they resist the Jing clan? If the Yu clan didn't get involved, the Jing clan wouldn't let them off. "Yu clan, do you want it?" asked Lin Feng the members of the Yu clan directly. The members of the Yu clan remained silent for a few seconds, and someone finally said, "The Yu clan is not getting involved." "Alright, then don't get involved. You won't get your share of the Jing clan's deployment mine," said Lin Feng calmly. "Brothers of Tiantai, protect me and summon our teacher." "What?" The crowd was stupefied. Lin Feng wanted to summon his teacher back? Did have an incredibly strong teacher? "Alright," said Ho Ching Lin and the others. They understood what Lin Feng meant. Lights twinkled around Lin Feng as he disappeared. Is that how he summons his teacher? The crowd was stupefied. The elder of the Jing clan frowned too. What was Lin Feng doing? Everybody looked around calmly. The crowd didn't realize how quickly Lin Feng had become the center of attention. An eerie silence came over everything. Then they heard a sound, like a great bell had been rung, which made their hearts pound. It sounded again, and a terrifying chi emerged and filled the air. "It comes from under the ground." The crowd was astonished and looked at the ground. Something was moving down there, an earthquake? Everybody started shaking along with the ground. "He's purposely making a mystery of a simple thing," said the Saint Emperor of the Jing clan icily. He moved and released a terrifying power. Millions of marks and fissures appeared on the ground. However, at that moment, the earth cracked and gave way as two hands slowly appeared under the Saint Emperor's feet. The hearts of the crowd pounded even faster. Such gigantic hands dash. The ground cracked fully open, and a man slowly came out of the ground. He was tall and sturdy, a true giant. The Saint Emperor of the Jing clan was shocked, looking like an insect in front of him. The giant could bury him underfoot. His chi wasn't terrifying, but the Saint Emperor of the Jing clan had never sensed this saint's strength. This was the power of a saint. The giant opened his eyes. They were dazzling as he stared at the elder of the Jing clan. "You're the one who bullies my disciple?" said the voice, every word like thunder. The Saint Emperor stepped back, his face deathly pale as he stared at the giant. "Impossible, you're not a saint. No saint has come here. You're just a thread of a consciousness," exclaimed the elder of the Jing clan, icily releasing a terrifying strength. He was getting ready to attack. "Indeed. I gave 2 puppets to my disciple. The body he used just before is 1, and this one is 1 too. I also transmitted a thread of soul strength to him. He can summon me anytime. You want to try and see how strong I am?" said the giant, calmly slowly walking forwards. The emperor couldn't help but retreat. However, at that moment, the empty man also arrived, and the Saint Emperor pulled a long face. If the old woman had been there, she could have helped him, but now he was alone. "Lin Feng!" someone shouted at the same time in the distance. Tang Yu and Mu Chen arrived, and saw Tiantai's disciples and the giant. They understood what was going on. Tiantai's disciples were excited when they saw Mu Chen. "Brother!" Ho Ching Lin looked extremely happy when he saw Mu Chen. He almost had tears in his eyes. Mu Chen kept nodding at him. "All right, little boy, you're a big boy now." "Brother, Emperor Yu found us. When he sensed you were injured, he didn't want us to come, so we came without telling him," said Ho Ching Lin. Mu Chen was gratified at the news. His old friend was safe and his disciples were strong. They even had an imposing appearance. He hadn't wasted his time raising them. They were all outstanding. They were talented, but also loving and caring. When the elder of the Jing clan sensed Tang Yu's chi, his paling face twisted yet further. If he had only been facing the giant, he would have tried to see how strong he really was. However, there were so many strong cultivators, he couldn't take the risk. The giant didn't attack either. At that moment, Lin Feng was controlling two bodies. He had wasted too much energy with Qin Shan's body the previous time, he couldn't do it again. He just wanted to scare the Saint Emperor to death. Lin Feng still hoped he would be able to find a godly medicine to help Qin Shan recover someday. That way, he would have someone to protect him all the time. He wouldn't need to pretend to scare his opponents. But now he had no choice, and it was still enough to scare the Jing clan. At the very least, the Saint Emperor of the Jing clan was scared. Chapter 21:15. Jing clan's weakening Muchen looked at the giant and that terrifying qi which made him shiver. How strong! He was truly astonished. Who had brought such a strong cultivator come to confront the Jing clan? Muchen didn't think the other clans had helped him, they were all strangers to him. Muchen! Jing Xiaoyu called out softly when she saw Muchen. Her heart twitched. She started crying and said, "I'm sorry." Muchen looked at her and smiled. "Xiaoyu, it has nothing to do with you. I didn't know the Jing clan had imprisoned you in the Black Tower," said Jing Xiaoyu. She was extremely sad. Her clan had deceived her. "Yes, I know," Muchen nodded, smiling softly. At that moment, the giant took another step towards the elder of the Jing clan. "I want some people, if anyone dares stop me, I'll kill them." The empty man also walked forwards. Tang Yuyu joined them, 3 terrifying cultivators. The elder of the Jing clan felt the pressure, his face stiffened. He said icily, "Whom do you want? If you ask anything again, it won't be as simple as wanting a few people. You deceived my disciple, we'll definitely settle accounts," said the giant, releasing an overwhelming oppressive energy. His energies were as dauntless as the sky. The other saint and Tang Yu walked towards Quebec. "You can't touch him," shouted the Jing clan's strong cultivator extremely loudly. "Don't worry, we won't kill him. We'll just teach the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry a good lesson," replied the giant icily. The empty man and Tang Yuyu pushed the people who were protecting Yike away, then grabbed Quebec. It wasn't over with just that. Tang Yuyu took Yike back and the other saint walked over to the 2 remaining cultivators of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry. The beast they were riding roared defiantly, trying to protect them. However, the empty man punched it and simply blew it apart with a single blow. Nobody dared stop him anymore. He grabbed the 2 other strong cultivators of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry, 1 in each hand. They couldn't even struggle with him. "What's this supposed to mean?" asked the elder of the Jing clan, his face truly unsightly now. The Jing clan had invited 5 geniuses of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry to come and fight. 2 had been killed, 3 had been captured. If Jing Yan's teacher came to know that, the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry would be furious at the Jing clan, especially since among those 5 people was Yi Ke. The giant glanced at the elder of the Jing clan icily, but remained silent. Tang Yuyu spoke to Jing Xiaoyu directly. "Master, leave the Jing clan and follow our teacher." Jing Xiaoyu was stupefied. This was, without a doubt, the best time to leave the Jing clan. Nobody would dare stop her. "Master," said Ho Qinglin and the others greeted Jing Xiaoyu. Jing Xiaoyu shivered. She saw all those people smiling and finally smiled back, the release of her cares beautiful to behold. She looked at Mu Chen and said, "My man, your disciples are amazing," as she walked over to him. The members of the Jing clan were furious. This battle had turned into a tragedy. They had lost faith in people and it wasn't even over. The giant turned around. The other saint was looking at the strong cultivators of the Jing clan and he said, "Some things must be sorted. Today the Jing clan lost. From today on, the Jing clan's deployment mine is no longer theirs. As the Yu clan has refused their share of the profits, the Jing clan's deployment mine is now the Wen and the Feng clans. They each get half of it. If the Jing clan attacks them in the future, I'll kill Yi Ke and the 2 others. This thing with the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry has nothing to do with the Feng clan and the Wen clan. If the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry wants to get their revenge and attacks them, same thing, we'll kill Ye Kei and the two others. The members of the Jing clan were furious. They had lost face, people, and now their deployment mine. Alright, it's over for today. I'm sure the Jing clan will keep their promises now. It's enough for today, said the giant dismissively. His massive form receded into the ground. After a short time, Tiantai's people surrounded Lin Feng, who had reappeared. Brother! Lin Feng raised his head and looked at Mu Chen, smiling broadly. Little boy, smiled Mu Chen. He was speechless. He didn't need to talk much, anyway. It's over now. Let's go, said Lin Feng. They all headed out. After a short time, the members of the Wen clan and the Feng clan also left. Only the members of the Jing clan were left, as well as some members of the Yu clan. Yuexan watched those people heading off. She had seen Lin Feng and his friend every day on her clan's territory, yet her clan wasn't having a good time. Lin Feng and Tiantai were very honest. They were similar to her. Yuexan, take care, said a voice in the distance. It was Tiantai. He turned around, waved, and smiled at Yuexan. Yuexan's heart twitched. She suddenly felt so sad. Little girl, sometimes in life you have to take initiative, said a voice to Yuexan telepathically. Yuexan turned around and met her father's eyes. She was startled but replied the same way, Thank you very much, father. I will definitely come back and see you. Yuexan said, I'm going for a walk, and began to leave. Yu Lin and the others frowned when they saw that. Yu Lin shouted, Stop, where are you going? I'm going for a walk to relax, replied Yuexan, glancing carelessly back at Yu Lin. Come back, said Yu Lin, frowning coldly. He knew that Yuexan wanted to go with Lin Feng and Tiantai. I can go wherever I want without your permission, shot back Yuexan. Yu Lin looked at her icily and said, If you dare leave, we'll expel you from the Yu clan. That damn piece of shit dares act arrogantly again. You want me to teach you a lesson again? Shouted Tiantai furiously in the distance when he heard Yu Lin. Yu Lin's face stiffened up and he shut up. Big boy, I want to come with you, will you take me or not? Yuexan asked Tiantai. All right, come with us, answered Tiantai with a broad grin. He didn't mind at all. All right. Yuexan nodded. She turned around and looked at Yu Lin and the other members of the Yu clan. She said, I'm leaving the Yu clan. If I die, it has nothing to do with the Yu clan. I've made up my mind. See you. Then she left with Tiantai, Lin Feng and the others. The members of the Yu clan were astonished. Lin Feng and the others gradually disappeared in the distance. 3 days prior, the Jing clan had thought they'd steal 3 deployment mines, and now their plans were completely ruined. The Jing clan had invited cultivators of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry to protect their deployment mine, and they had failed. The 5 geniuses of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry had either been killed or captured. Now the prisoners of the Black Tower had been released, and had slaughtered many of the members of the Jing clan as they took their revenge. Many of the prisoners were also from powerful clans, so their clans would want to get their revenge too. The crowd all understood something. Because of a few young people, the first clan of Qingshan City was going to fall. The next day, the Feng clan and the Wen clan made a formal alliance and invaded the Jing clan's deployment mine. The Jing clan had no choice but to accept. They couldn't let Ye Kei die. 3 days later, many people arrived at Qingshan City. They wanted to attack the Jing clan, and some of them had good relations with the Feng clan and the Wen clan. They were getting ready to teach the Jing clan a good lesson. A Saint Emperor of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry landed on the Jing clan's territory. When he learned the result of the battle, he slapped Jing Yan so violently he flew far away. Jing Yan's cultivation was crippled, and was now a good-for-nothing. He couldn't practice cultivation anymore. In the Saint Emperor's eyes, 100 Jing Yans were worthless in comparison to a Yi Quebec. Ye Kei was supposed to participate in the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds, but he had been captured. He wasn't dead, but he was useless. That Saint Emperor decided not to take a part of the deployment mine in Qingshan City. He was in a rush. He wanted to find Ye Kei. Ye Kei was one of the geniuses of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry. He had disappeared, and it was a very big problem. They didn't care about Qingshan City. He arrived at the territory of the Feng and Wen clans, wanting to find Lin Feng and the others, but they had already disappeared from Qingshan City. They had Ye Kai with them, so they obviously couldn't stay in Qingshan City. Besides, the Wen clan and the Feng clan had nothing to do with that matter. The members of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry had willingly come to Qingshan City to fight. Jing Yan's teacher also had to bear a part of the responsibility, so he was even more furious. He was also furious that Ye Kai had lost a battle. And most amazingly, that a saint had appeared in such a trivial town as Qingshan City. The Jing clan had fallen. The Wen clan and the Feng clan had joined hands and were starting to rise. They became extremely close. They knew that it was the only way for them to strive forwards. Chapter 21:16. Going to the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry. Lin Feng and the others had left the city almost immediately. Their only goal for going to Qingshan City was to save Mu Chen. Now they had saved Mu Chen and captured some people. They couldn't stay there. Lin Feng was convinced that many people weren't going to let the Jing clan off easily. Even if nobody destroyed them completely, they were going to become nobodies. That was the price for having imprisoned Mu Chen. In a mountainous area, a terrifying demon cloud rose up into the air. Culpa's strength pierced through the sky and bombarded someone on the mountainside. Everybody was staring at that silhouette. Lin Feng, that little boy, has he obtained something? Mu Chen's heart kept pounding. He had the sensation that Culpa's strength could kill him, but it didn't do anything to Lin Feng. He was just standing there proudly. Brother, no need to be surprised, Ho Qing Lin smiled. Mu Chen nodded. I would have never thought that our people would become so incredible, and it's even more surprising that all the disciples went to study at Champion University and recreated Tiantai there. Of course, we want to make Tiantai even more powerful and stand at the top in the continent of the 9 clouds. Ho Qing Lin with quiet determination. He continued softly, Teacher, Emperor Yu and you are the real leaders of Tiantai. You must recover and take the lead again. It will be a flourishing period for Tiantai. No, I can't, said Mu Chen smiling and shaking his head. I'm old now. You are all stronger and more talented than me. You have all surpassed me, and will become even stronger in the future. You can now take care of Tiantai. I will travel and enjoy my life with Xiaoyu. You and your wife can enjoy life even if you take care of Tiantai, said Tianqi smiled. Mu Chen clapped Tianqi's shoulders and said, Little Qi, you're an adult now. Time passes too fast. Indeed. Lin Feng even has kids. Brother, when will you have a child? We'll have a new fellow disciple, said Rosia. Everybody was chatting happily. Mu Chen was recovering slowly. His soul was injured, and he needed a good soul pellet to recover. The demon clouds dispersed. Lin Feng took a deep breath, as if he were absorbing the demon lights of the earth and sky. Then his silhouette flickered and he landed next to the others. Brother, how do you feel? Mu Chen smiled. Awesome. My whole body is filled with strength, said Lin Feng. He stretched out his hands, and his bones crackled. The strength radiating off him felt dangerous and explosive. Mu Chen calmly punched Lin Feng and hurt his own hand. He couldn't even make Lin Feng move. He smiled and said, With your physical strength, even a cultivator of the top of the Huang Qi layer can't pose a threat to you. Brother, people call Ye Kai an emperor who has no enemy at the same level. Actually, Lin Feng is a cultivator who has no enemy at the same level, a real one. And it'll become even more true when he reaches the very top of the Huang Qi layer, Tiantai grinned. He didn't know Mu Chen, but he knew he was one of Tiantai's founders, and so respected him. The continent of the 9 clouds is extremely vast. I don't know how big it is, and I don't know what it means to be a cultivator who has no enemy at the same level. Back then, Ji Chang thought he was one, and then Chu Chun Chiu started rising. Then I met Wang Jian and Zhuo Qing. And then I met Wu Ju and the 13 young beast masters of the animal district. They're all stronger than the next one. Nobody has no enemy at the same cultivation level in the continent of the 9 clouds. The most important thing is to become stronger and stronger. As you break through, you have fewer and fewer enemies, said Lin Feng calmly. Even though talent and cultivation level were interconnected, the higher the cultivation level, the better. You're right, breathed Mu Chen. Lin Feng, without mentioning the continent of the 9 clouds, there are many geniuses in godly clouds already. Qingshan City is a small town, but there are many strong cultivators there already. The Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry has other people like Yi Quebec. Yes, the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry is powerful. I captured those 3 and interrogated them about the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry. It's a mysterious place indeed. They practice cultivation and study deployment spells there. They also have many mysterious worlds. They're famous in godly clouds, so they must be extremely strong. Where are we going? Said Mu Chen. Godly Cloud's capital city, Godly Cloud City, the place where the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds will take place, said Ho Ching Lin, his eyes twinkling. They had come to Godly Clouds and they wanted to participate in the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds. It would be a magnificent sight. Even if they couldn't join, they could watch and learn. According to legends, there are 12 mysterious towns within Godly Clouds. They all have a celestial flight of stairs which leads to the real city center of Godly Cloud City, and that place is supposed to be the real location of the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds. Many strong cultivators are heading there. Climbing up the celestial flights of stairs won't be easy, Mu Chen informed. Uxin nodded and added, each of the 12 towns do lead to the place of the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds. Strong cultivators will appear like a gathering storm. The shrines support the event, and they're the only ones who can open the passages, I believe. Godly Cloud City was a mysterious place even to people from Godly Clouds, especially the inner part of the city where the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds was supposed to take place. There is still some time before the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds. However, people are already excited about it. Many people are rushing to Godly Clouds from abroad. Yes, we still have time. We need to think, said Mu Chen with a smile. Tiantai's people couldn't go straight to Godly Cloud City. They could gather some experience first. You're right, brother. I think so. Maybe that we'll have some opportunities on the way. We can travel and we'll see where we want to go, replied Ho Ching Lin with approval. He looked at Lin Feng. What do you think, Lin Feng? I want to go to the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry, said Lin Feng. Ho Ching Lin was startled. This guy wanted to go there? Lin Feng wanted to spend a few days turning Yi Ke and the others into puppets. With Yi Ke's talent, turning him into a demon puppet and teaching him the Celestial Evolution Holy Scriptures would make him incredibly strong. It would be much better than using the Holy Jade Princess. He had also learned a few things about the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry, so he had some plans. You have already planned something, it seems, said Ho Ching Lin smiled. All right, we're so many people we can separate anyway. We'll meet and gather in Godly Cloud City again. That's exactly what I was thinking. We're so many people, traveling together is inconvenient. We can divide into 4 groups. Brother, you want to spend time recovering, or do you want to travel with the others? Asked Lin Feng to Mu Chen. We'll see. I can travel with Xiao Yu, we can travel and see the country. Mu Chen smiled broadly. No, you can't. I'll make the puppet protect you from a distance, said Lin Feng. Mu Chen and Jing Xiaoyu glanced at one another, smiled and nodded together. All right. We'll meet in Godly Cloud City, replied Mu Chen. Lin Feng was relieved. With a saint close by, nothing could happen. He didn't need to worry about his fellow disciples. They were wise and strong. They would also reach the top of the Huangqi layer at some point. In the end, they divided into 5 groups. Lin Feng stayed with Tang Yu. Mu Chen and Jing Xiaoyu stayed together. Ho Ching Lin and Tian Qi took some people with them. Jing Shou and Jian Meng departed with some others. Ruo Xie, Tan Tai, and Yu Exan traveled with some others. After having spending some time together for a few days, they had divided once again. Lin Feng and Tang Yu traveled, looking confident and at ease. Once in a while, Lin Feng bathed in the demon pond and his Devamara body grew stronger, his physical strength ever increasing. He didn't know how terrifying the cultivators were going to be at the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds. In the Dark Night region, there were the 13 Beastmasters and Saint Tianhun. He knew how strong they were. There was also the first master of the Dark Night region. Saint Tianhun was a true saint. He was going to progress extremely quickly. Therefore, Lin Feng had to become as strong as he could as quickly as possible. The Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry would be a good place to become stronger. He would also learn about deployment spells there, possibly by studying the 10,000 deployment walls pattern. Lin Feng had studied small and great deployment spells, but the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry probably had many things to teach him. The Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry was situated in the middle of a mountain range. It was far from any city, in the middle of nowhere. Lin Feng walked around slowly and looked at the magnificent landscapes. He sighed. This place was amazing. It was exactly in the middle of 8 cities, which were still some distance away. The celestial deployment plate is there. Lin Feng looked at a gigantic stone plate, which formed the entrance of the Celestial Remarkable Deployment Ministry. Lin Feng arrived in front of the celestial deployment plate and put his hand on it. Lights surrounded his body, and Lin Feng was teleported away. Lin Feng smiled as he reappeared in a place with many marks on the ground. He put his hands on them, there was a rumble of power, and the deployment spell broke apart. The celestial deployment plate opened, and Lin Feng crossed the door. They are tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.